Brad, run! It is Godzilla!
Adrian, no, how you doing? Hey, oh no, this Godzilla. Oh no, let's get out of here. Hey.
That's the words of what Brad used to say, or always says. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Take your best shot.
What is going on? What is going on?
Ah.
What is going on, guys and gals? And welcome to Good Will Hunting. Happy end of 2023. It's coming up to an end pretty soon, next week, for all, for the most part. And it's time to celebrate the top 20 movies of the year, all genres. This is one of the few nights of the year we talk about all genres of movies. Tonight's going to be the top 20 of all genres throughout the year. We've got some doozies to talk about. A lot of good horror movies in here, too. Obviously, our top 20 is full of them, but there's going to be a few other things as well. So it's going to be a fun night. Excited to celebrate the year of film. Birdie.
Dude, absolutely, man. Sorry, I gotta get this real quick. Love the shirts, Brett. Yeah, Kansas City, man. I love the Chiefs, man. So hell yeah, man. I'm going to assume you are a Chief fan as well. But yeah, I am very super excited to end the year. We've had a pretty good year of movies for the year of 2023, both horror and non-horror. And to let y'all guys know, this is a mix of both. Like Brad said, this is one of the few times of the year we kind of like go outside of the world of horror a little bit, but we're also going to bring some horror into this particular live stream as well. So Brad, before I say hello to the chat, do you want to freaking do the honors with our Patreons and YouTube members?
Whip it out. Yeah, dude. Obviously, these are our Patreons right here. We really appreciate all of them. They're all lovely people. And, as is everybody here, even if you're not a Patreon, you're still a lovely person just for being here. We like you for that. But these guys are the backbone of the channel, man. They do a lot of good stuff for us. They help us out quite a bit. Of course, we'll be doing some extra recorded videos for them. We're in the middle of doing those top 10 of every year, or top 5 of every year from the 2010s. We'll do the top 10 non-horror movies as well for 2023. So they'll be seeing that. And if you don't want to be a Patreon member, you can always be a YouTube member. That's always available. That's quick and easy to sign up for. And you can do it for as low as 99 cents and get those badges, those emojis and things like that. So these guys are fantastic too. People like doing it, and I like it for it too. But if you can't do either, that's okay. Again, like I said, just being here, liking the video, sharing the video, subscribing, telling your friends, sharing helps a lot, commenting, all that stuff, being here in the live chat. We appreciate every one of you. So thanks a lot.
Absolutely. And just real quickly before I say hello to the chat too, want to do a fake sponsorship. When you have a fever and you need to reduce that fever, I always suggest you gotta have more cowbell in your life. So if you got a fever, the only prescription is cowbell.
This guy gets more freaking props by the week. I don't even know what to do. He's running out of space over there with his props. He's got freaking popcorn. He's got smiley face popcorn cups, and he's got all kinds of shit, and it gets more.
Actually, you know what? I apologize. I meant to use my strong hand.
Now we go. Now we got the prop double down. He's using a prop to touch another prop. You can't do that.
Wait a tick. I'm single. Hold me. Hey. Woo.
Yeah. We better not have none of those jerk sesh parties, man.
Dude, no, not at all.
What's it called? Tug session. Tug session. That's what.
You know what? They'll figure it out in February.
Yeah.
What the hell we're talking about? But let's say hello to the chat. I think we will get started because we got a lot of movies to talk about tonight. So get your favorite drink, get your favorite beverage. I just said that already. So your favorite snack, and then let's ready to rock. So let me go all the way from the beginning here. We got Lamantra, what's going on? We got Chester, what's going on? We got Melissa. How are you doing, Melissa? Yo, Adrian, how they doing? We're going to talk about top 20 movies of the year, both horror and non-horror, you know. We got Raymond. What's going on there? How are you doing? We got Brother Flood saying the S on Superman's chest stands for Stewart. I'm pretty sure it stands for hope, but man, that is, I'll still take the appreciation of that you have hope for me, that of I will not always act like a complete dumbass. So I appreciate that. So let's see here. No, I ran out the whipped cream. I still need to get more of it, so I apologize for that.
Put it on your nipples.
God, I don't even know why I did that. That was non-alcohol talking there. But Rosie, my dear, how are you doing? Here is your rose, the best rose on YouTube today. So Rosie, my dear, here is your rose.
Yeah, dude. We need to get a little snow on there, though. It's winter.
Oh yeah, dude. I need to work on that, especially when hey, winter is coming, Brad. Winter is coming. Oh gosh, I got him started on that. My apologies. So let's see here. We got Ashton's in the house. What's going on there, Ashton? We got Chris Snyder. What's going on? We got Zodiac C in the house. Who else we got here? I know I saw someone else. There's the lovely Brooke. Brooke, how are you doing? Blu-ray addict. Hopefully you are conquering your addiction to Blu-rays. Hopefully that fight, you keep fighting the good fights. If you're a fan of American Wedding.
Haven't seen that in a while.
Dude, that's so good. Or Mega Cat, what's going on there? Courtney Reed, what's going on, dude? Luckily, we do not have to turn any porch lights off at the moment. But if we make an outrageous comment, you just let us know when to turn those porch lights off.
Yeah.
So let's see here. We got the lovely Holly. What's going on there, Holly? How are you doing? We got the sexy SOB, the most fire content creator of all of YouTube. Anytime you get to watch a stream of his, you have to call 911 and put out that fire. It's Matt Fauci.
Dude, I thought I felt the heat tick up just a notch. And I thought I saw a little flame out there, but I think that was just...
Wait, Brad, do you have a fever?
A fever, Fauci. Fever. Don't do it. What is happening? No. God dang it.
I set your ass up. So let's see here. Stephen Kennedy, what's going on? Say hi, all. There will be 3 movies on your list that will not make my list. 1 will make my worst. 2 will make my disappointed list. Dude, I'm actually looking forward to that.
Interesting, yeah, dude.
Well,
hey,
let's get him on here and let him take over the stream, because I'm actually more excited for what we're going to talk about.
Well, I was going to say, like, if you guys have a list of your movies, if you all ranked your list, drop them in the comment section as we get to each one, 20, 19, 18. It'll be fun, because I'm curious to what everybody's list looks like this year. If not, just throw in some of your favorites. Let us know.
Dude, absolutely. And Cody Snyder, just to finish up real quick, Cody Snyder, what's going on? We got Heather. How are you doing? Hopefully everything is right in the world. We love Heather. And then just again, Drew Refuse, how are you doing? 4 hours from KC. That's probably for the best, because the barbecue I hear is delicious. And look at Andy Reid. So there you go.
And he eats the burgers though. Andy Reid, you can't do any burgers, so be careful.
Oh, and yeah, dude. Yeah, especially them. Especially them nuggies. Gory Tiger, what's going on, my friend? I think you are the last one. So if I miss you, please comment right now so I do not forget you. And let's see here. And someone asked just made a great comment already, and I was going to address it before we actually get started. Stephen Kennedy has watched 75 2023 movies this year. Brad, how many have you watched?
It's not great. Actually, this is one of my lowest years in recent memory. 38 just for me. So this is going to be almost half the movies of the year for my list tonight. So, yeah, a little bit low this year. A little bit low. Been a busy year, though. Been a really busy year. Plus, we got Call of Duty. We've been playing a lot of Call of Duty. I mean, a lot of zombies, so
I was supposed to see Wonka last week, but somebody convinced me to play zombies instead. So
yeah.
Even I heard Wonka's been getting good reviews.
Yeah, decent, I guess. I think it's somewhere in the middle, or something like
4 stars on Letterboxd right now. Yeah. So it's doing something right.
Yeah, doing good.
And what did you say your number was again?
38, I believe. I think was
Holy
it.
shit, I just almost multiplied you right there. I'm a dirty son of a bitch, though, because I actually finished a year, especially after watching a certain movie earlier today. I'm officially at 69.
Dude, you better keep it at that number, man.
I
You
know,
better
I'm not
keep it.
watching another damn movie, so.
Yeah, not unless this thinks. Wait, no, not the hills have thighs. Maybe.
Or Saw XXX.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So, oh, dude, we gotta celebrate this. If it will officially get started, I promise. Happy Sanjo! What's going on, man? Just making everybody happy, especially me and Brad here, because we got a new YouTube member.
Hey, welcome to the party, pal. Good to see you. Happy.
Well, it all depends on what tier he entered in. He could be welcome to the party. He could be a hello, who is this? Or he could be the amazing third tier that I'm so cracked down on energy right now. It's bugging my memory.
Yeah, but either way, welcome. We appreciate it and we like it, and we'll play a little video for you if you want. You want to pick one, Birdie?
Oh, I got one right here.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
I don't know if you've ever seen $100,000, except maybe in the movies. But I assure you, something gets lost in the translation.
We got.
I know we gotta fix that clip. I'll try to work on that next week. Yes, I have a feeling I'll be all of next week too. So it all depends what I got going on. So thank you so much. And Blu-ray, I really want to watch that movie so bad. I'm just going to wait for it to come out to see if it's streaming because I am a wrestling fan and I know about that family and I want to see how good of a job they did explaining that family's tragic story.
And that brings up a good point. There's a handful of movies this year that I wanted to see, I didn't. By and large, there wasn't really a lot that really drew me to the theater to go. Like there was nothing I was like, oh, I got to go see this. I mean, there was a good chunk of them, but a lot of these movies I saw were just like, oh, I don't have anything to do. I'm gonna go to the movies. But so that's kind of how the year was for me. But there was some towards the end of the year, like the Holdovers I wanted to see, didn't get a chance. I have a feeling that would have been high up, and that one too, Iron Claw. It looked good too. I want to see that. There's a few other ones as well, but yeah, yeah. So that's but for the most part, I saw everything that I wanted to see.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Sorry, you just actually gave me a good idea. I'm actually putting down which year was better, 2022 or 2023.
Good question. I
Yeah,
like
so I'm
that.
gonna let the chat vote on that all night, and we'll address it towards the end. So if somebody can remind me to check it towards the end, I would really appreciate that. And we also appreciate Tiffany hanging out with us tonight. What's going on there, Tiffany? How are you doing?
Hello and welcome. Good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we got all the introductions down. We are 12 minutes in. We got a lot of movies to talk about. 20 of them, technically, maybe 24, because we do got some honorable mentions to start out. So let me get to my banners. Honorable mentions. So here we go, Brad. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Real quick, I just wanted to ask you before we really dug into the list here. Was there anything that came out that just would disappointed you this year that you thought was going to crack in your top 20 but didn't quite make it, or anything that, because I know
Brad, do you know what happens when you ask ridiculous questions like that? Do you know what happens when we release our list to the wonderful people, the 19 people in our chat right now? Do you want to know what happens?
what happens.
You just made the list!
Whoa!
I'm just messing with you. But to answer your question about the most disappointed movie from this list,
Well, just know in general, if there's anything that you thought would something you were really looking forward to that kind of sucked, or you just didn't feel good about, or anything like that. Like,
let's see here. I'm looking right now, just a quick eye glance.
for me, I got a couple. I remember Flash being one of them. I wasn't like
that's a
super
good
looking.
one.
I wasn't super looking forward to it, and I did. I mean, I had a good time with it when I was watching. I didn't hate it, but I don't really care to ever go see it again. Now that it's over, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to watch this again. Same thing. I remember Boogeyman got a lot of buzz when it came out. I was really excited to go see that.
That's a good one.
And I just didn't really care for it, at the end of the day. But there's another one that's actually still in my top 20. So
Cocaine Bear.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I thought it would be absolutely hilarious, but I hardly don't even remember the comedy at all, and it's sad. So, definitely Cocaine Bear is one of them for me, and another one I'll mention too. We kind of assume it was coming, but we thought at least due to the trailer, it was actually going to be somewhat decent. That's Exorcist Believer, if you can believe that or not. I still had some hope for it, but of course, it definitely disappointed me with the direction it went. And you'll definitely hear me, I'm going to safely assume Brad again for a particular video coming up here in the coming weeks.
Dude, I'll tell you one too that kind of sucked was Ant-Man. I thought that one.
Oh, that's another one too,
Yeah, it
especially
was just
after the
so.
major announced or the latest news that came out.
Yeah, because Jonathan Majors was the best part of that movie, but he got canned, and rightfully so. He should have been,
Mhm.
but
Fuck
it
yourself.
was. Yeah, the movie just was fucking stupid. Like you had that dude floating around, that big ass head floating around.
Oh
What was his
my
name?
god,
Winston or
CGI,
Willard or whatever his name was. He was fucking
dude.
like I didn't
MODOK.
like Modoc. Yeah, yeah. It ain't Muck Duck. It's Modoc. But it's
But
I
dude,
don't know. But anyways,
dude,
I just wanted it. I was just curious.
you know what Quantumania could have actually learned a lesson or two from? It's a movie we'll talk about in our top 5, so stay tuned. So let's see here. Brad, I also want to say hi real quick to
Hatsy put
she put 63. What's going on there? How are you doing?
Hatsy put 63. Hello and welcome to see. Good to see you here again. Always good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Brad, let's get down to the nitty gritty. A lot of movies to talk about. So, hopefully, y'all have all the time in the world to hang out with us, and because we are so excited to hang out with you, the last stream before Christmas.
Yes. That's why
Yeah.
I'm rocking it, dude. I bought it for a Christmas party. And I said I'm getting my
Aw.
money's worth, so I think I've worn it for 3 straight streams. So whatever. Let's
Dude,
rock.
you lucky bastard, you. So, Brad, you gave me the kindness to do our pre-recorded video first. So, I think it's only fair if you go first.
Honorable mentions. Okay, I got a couple. No One Will Save You being one. Again, I like this movie quite a bit. It was very unique in concept, whereas there was no dialogue in the movie, but the main character was still able to bring you along that journey and do it successfully. So I thought it was cool. A lot of good suspense moments in this. Good, the creatures were done right. It's an alien invasion movie. If you guys haven't seen it on Hulu, stream movie. And they pop in, and the whole movie's just basically her trying to get away, and like it'll throw in some backstory throughout. And I thought it was all done really well. And I had a kind of an emotional ending as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly how it ended, but
A weird ass ending.
The reveal. I remember the reveal at the end being pretty epic, as far as heart wrenching. The other one's missing. It's kind of an unofficial sequel, I guess you could call it, to Searching, where the whole movie takes place like on a computer screen, where this mom, you have this daughter and mom. The mom goes on vacation with some dude she met, and they've been dating for a while. And she goes missing while she's in Mexico or wherever they went. Hence the title of the movie.
From Mexico, because they were after those avocados from
Mexico. Yes, dude, that's a good. But yeah, I mean, I thought this movie was really good. It was intriguing the whole time. Because she's sitting there like basically the police don't really help her out after she goes missing down there, so she's stuck like at home because she's like a teenager. Her mom's missing in Mexico, and she's doing all this, research and shit on her computer to try to fit. And she's making all these phone calls. She meets a guy on a moped, which is not Russell Crowe. We're not going to talk about him at all tonight.
Oh God,
in that's
another video.
But yeah, like it was cool. Like she has to kind of rely on him to help her with the investigation, because she's obviously not down there. She's at home in the States, and all that stuff's done really good. Yeah, I just thought it was really compelling. It's a nice thriller, and it was done really well.
Hell yeah, man. That is awesome. I enjoyed both of the movies you just mentioned. Sadly, they are not my honorable mentions or in my top 20. So, but I'm glad you mentioned them. Actually, I'm actually looking at my list right now, Brad. 26 and 27 is missing, and No One Will Save You. So they're actually if we did a top 25 video, they would have been my honorable mentions as well. So it's kind of funny how that worked out. It also works out too because freaking Russell is in the house. If I can find his amazing comment right here saying Christmas. I wish I was wearing a Christmas sweater. I feel like an ass now.
Yeah, just leave me hanging.
And then Chris mentioned this being Joe Dirt, so I'm going to do my Joe Dirt impersonation real quick. You're on that 52 inch big screen at the double wide. No, Brother Fluff, that's awesome. So let me.
Dude, if Brett took his shirt off right now, you know how big his nipples would be for you right now? It'd be at least an inch.
You know what? There's no rules. There's one rule.
Yeah.
Put your shirt back on. There's one rule. Oh man, one of my favorite Little Caesars commercials. So I'm going to keep the shirt on, because again, we don't want to claim for exploitation of children and all that. Yeah, it was close. Well, sorry,
How old
man.
are you?
I make sure I always mark the videos. It has to be 18 and older for us to watch these particular videos. So don't worry, we're safe. We're safe.
Okay.
No, I can't do it. Don't tempt me for a good time. So let
Put
me
some
go ahead.
whipped cream on those sons of bitches.
I already have whipped cream. I'm so sorry, man.
Cool,
God.
whip, dude.
Brett heard my voice. He was pretty close. There we go. So let me mention my honorable mentions real quick. I promise this is a PG show, as close to as we'll get. So my 2 honorable mentions. The first one being The Marvels. To me, this is the most surprising movie of 2023 for me because I thought that was just going to be another kind of like a cash grab for the MCU trying to get that extra money so they could put into one of their bigger projects. But actually, I had a really good time with this one. I thought all 3 of the lead females cast did a very good job, especially interacting with each other. But definitely Kamala Khan or Miss Marvel definitely stole the show of this movie. She was terrific. Her comedy was great. Especially there is one scene in this movie where it totally makes fun of Disney, and I just absolutely laughed at it while the rest of the world hated that scene, which was disappointing. But I had a good time with this. I was very surprised watching this movie, so I wanted to mention that. And my other movie here is Gran Turismo. Brad, I'm not sure if you are a fan of the game or you've played the game before, but I remember playing the game one time. So I'm more of what we call Grand Theft Auto in those car races. I'd kick Brad's ass over here.
Get out of here. You ain't kicking nobody's ass.
Well,
man.
as long as you don't pull a pit maneuver, I hate everyone except Mark. But
that wasn't a pit. That was a surprise C4 in the car, and we went.
It certainly was.
Like
After waiting 2 hours for my turn and my car gets exploded. But that's another story. But Gran Turismo, folks, this is based off of a true story. And I felt like they did a really good job making you cheer for our main character to succeed. And definitely the most underrated person in this movie is indeed David Harbour. He, to me, makes this movie work from beginning to end. So he did a great job, and I implore you all to give this movie a watch.
I like it. Number 20. Okay. This is a movie for me that
Oh, sorry. Before you get to it, first off, let me pull that up there. And I saw a comment I wanted to address. Let's see here. Sorry, real quickly, because I did saw a comment here. It's Holly's right here. Guess I don't need to pay for Brett's OnlyFans. That is actually a quick sponsor, real quick. Goodwill Humping. So when you want to see Brett take off his shirt and put whipped cream in inappropriate places, for as low as 99 cents, you get access to those pictures, and for $2 more, you get access videos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Feet.
And just kidding. No such thing exists. So
yeah. But if it did, it would be
that's
called,
where you would go.
No, but anyway.
All right, Brad, let's go ahead. Number 20, kick us off.
Number 20 for me. Okay. This is a movie that I anticipate. It was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. And it was one I expected to be my top 5, if not top 5, top 10 for sure. It dropped to 20. That's Creed 3. I don't think it's horrible. I still enjoyed it. The story was compelling. I do appreciate it for giving us a unique. It's got to be the most unique film in the Rocky / Creed franchise. It doesn't really follow any particular formula from any of the movies that we saw before it. So I appreciate it for that. Again, Jonathan Majors was fucking awesome in this movie. Again, though, fired, rightfully so. Whatever. Dude sucks. But I thought, Michael B. Jordan, his directorial debut went well for the most part. He did some weird shit towards the end that kind of threw me off a little bit.
Oh God.
And again, I'll watch it again and maybe it'll change. Maybe it was just kind of off-putting for me to see. But the story was compelling. I thought it was good at, really diving into these characters and giving more of a backstory on the Creed character that we didn't get to see before. Because when we met him, he was already kind of like, not necessarily in his prime, but he was already like, he was a decent boxer. He was already decent, solid. He was doing well in life. We didn't see him his backstory, his struggles in life. So it was cool to kind of go back and see that. So I liked it for that. It's still number 20 for now. Again, this might move up later after I rewatch it, but yeah, it was a little disappointing.
And another Jonathan Majors movie, him making an impact in that movie, and I did like his performance. And that's the thing, guys. I appreciate his talents as an actor, not him as a person. So I just want to address that real quick. I do not approve everything that he did, but every movie or TV or Marvel show that he done, good job. Especially he did a good job in Creed 3. But what knocks Creed 3 out of my top 20 for Brad is just what you said. The third act, definitely different from anything we see from the other two Creed movies. If they would just kept the basics of the other two Creed movies, this movie would have made my top 20.
Yeah, it could have. It had potential. The story had potential to be probably one of the more compelling, the most, because again, the first
I would
Creed
say
was.
second compelling because definitely Creed 2 definitely takes the cake.
Well, I like the first Creed the most, but it's also a direct
Oh, it's
ripoff
definitely
of.
the best, but
Yeah, but it's story wise, it's Rocky. It's a remake,
of course.
unofficially, and then 2 obviously is a little bit different. But then 3, the story was there, the characters were there to really be the best in that trilogy, but it just wasn't. And again, it's not that it was directed bad; it was just there's some weird decisions in there.
Mm-hmm. And I heard Michael B. Jordan is coming back to direct Creed 4. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but here's the main question: what are you going to do for a Creed 4? Because I feel like you've done everything you can for that particular Creed timeline. So I'm not sure what you would do with that particular movie, of what direction you go for Creed 4. But hey, if they do it, why not? So I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see here. Definitely drop a Christmas joke. We could use that as a transition from between rankings. So let us know the joke, my friend. I'm
Yeah.
always loving a good joke. So let's see here. My number 20, Brad. I had to do some rearranging because I definitely wanted to add this into my top 20. I know my Creed joke with arms wide open. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I had to do some rearranging because I definitely want this movie to be in my top 20, but I figured my way around it. I got to include it. Not number 20. It's totally killer. Definitely one of the more surprising horror movies of the year. This one definitely had a lot of word to mouth, or like just a lot of rumblings of being a very good movie. So I checked it out immediately. And I had such a great time with this movie. The lead actress was hilarious, and she was actually a good final girl, if you technically want to call it that. I consider her as so. And then, of course, the time traveling was done great. And plus, combining two eras like the 2020s, where we're in now, fighting the 80s, I think it's a fun style clash within the two time areas or time loops or whatever you want to call it time wise. I thought they did a great job. The writers of the movie did such a good job of kind of like writing this movie, and the jokes they land. And just again, the best word is I have fun with this movie. So it definitely goes at my number 20.
Good pick. 19 for me is Megan from January. I didn't have a lot of hopes for this, honestly, when it was announced, the trailer, the poster. I was like, oh, this is cliche. But it had really good story. It had really good characters in the movie. I thought it was really well done. And it's one of those, I watched it in theaters, and I watched it again when it came out, the unrated cut. There wasn't much difference, but it was still good. We had some good kills in this. Pressure washer to the face, always a good time, as well as a few other ones that were solid. So I thought the character of Megan, the new, horror villain, so to speak, was kick ass. She was better than Chucky in Child's Play 19. And yeah, I really liked it for that. So I thought, I think it was really well done.
Hell yeah, dude. Very good pick. Even though you're not going to like my next pick here, but you know what? It made my top 20, so I think you'll be pleased regardless. My number 19 is going to be Saw X. And of course, if you ain't down with that, I got 2 words for you. Good pick. Just kidding. So Saw X is definitely my number 19 because again, this is a different Saw movie within the franchise, and it's also what we call like a breath of fresh air within to a franchise and going into a different direction, focusing more on John Kramer, like focusing on the character. We finally get to focus on a character versus the mainly sold the traps with characters and story just in it. Definitely, I feel like it succeeded. Plus, of course, the traps, very incredible. My favorite being the saw wire trap. Definitely will be in my top 5 traps of all the times, and it still makes me cringe to this day, even if Taylor Swift music is playing in the background for one select viewing experience. So my number 19 is Saul X.
Yeah, I'm not happy with this list so far, Birdie, of yours. But nonetheless, I'm just kidding. My number 18, is M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin. Again, I didn't have a lot of faith in this movie after seeing Old. Old sucked a lot of assholes. A lot. You line up 19 assholes, it sucked all 19 of them. It wasn't good. And so I was like, I think M. Night has lost it. I think he's off the deep one. He's off on the deep end without a paddle or something like that. There's a saying I want to get out there, but you guys could probably pick it up. I don't like the movie at all, but so this movie came out. I don't even know if I watched the trailer. I wasn't, but again, it's one of those days. It's Friday. It was my day off. I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything. It's out. Let's go see it. And I actually really liked it. I thought the kid Dave Bautista was fantastic. I thought, again, that's the reason why it's in my top 20 is his performance. Harry Potter's friend,
oh my God, Brad, we legitimately just talked about this. I ain't telling you shit.
Osborne. No, his friend Lee. What's his name? His friend, Harry Potter's friend was in there as well.
Friendship over.
It's not. No. The red hair dude. He was in there. Miles Weebly. That's it.
Oh my God.
Ron Weasley. Thank you, Chris. Okay. All right. We're good. We're back on track.
You shouldn't have told him. You shouldn't have told them that.
You want to stop Snape from getting that stone or not, Harry? Let's go do it. But anyway, I thought it was great. I thought, all the bad guys were great. I really liked them. But just the story in general was compelling. You got the family in the cabin. Those guys show up. They're like, you got to kill one of y'all or the whole world ends. And you just don't know what's going. It's like 10 Cloverfield Lane in a way, where you're in this isolated environment. You don't know what's going on for real out there. You don't know if you want to trust these people or what. So I like that. It's a very compelling story, and I think that it was good.
Nice. And I'm glad that you were able to finally figure out the Harry Potter character's name. Do you want me to quiz you on the other characters?
I know it's not going to work. I know that one.
Okay, we're done. I don't want you to I know someone personally will take very quick advance of what you had to say. But
Leviosa.
Oh God,
it's not Leviosa.
Moving on, Brother Flav, I'm sorry I missed his comment from earlier, my friend. This is your member for 9 months, being a YouTube member for Good Will Hunting. We appreciate you for 9 months. So, guys, yeah, every month you are a YouTube member, you get a free highlight star comment, and with free comments like this, we're going to play videos for him because 9 months is a big accomplishment and we need to celebrate it. But before that, when the fuck did Brett turn into Carrot Top?
With the props and shit. Yeah, it was that's Brett Man in a nutshell. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay, I won't do it, but I will play this clip.
All right, I mean, I'll tip if somebody really deserves a tip. If they really put forth the effort, I'll give them something extra. But I mean, it's tipping automatically. It's for the birds.
Help me! I'm in a nutshell. You asked for it. Even though probably for my karma for that, I probably just tore my quad. So
hey, you can be like Vince Vaughn or Vince McMahon when he came in the ring and pulled his hammies, both of them.
No, he tore both of them.
Yeah,
dude, holy shit. Aaron Click, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
Hey, welcome. Good to see
Brett, you. You're fired. All right, but real quick before I go to my 18, I promise Adrian I read his joke. How do Christmas trees get their emails? They logged on.
Oh, the answer. Okay, I like that. I like that.
And you know what? Just because I don't like to be outshined because I'm the pun master, so I'm gonna have to give you all one. What is a Christmas tree's favorite snack? Ornaments.
Yes. I like that.
All right, let's get back on track here. Good joke there. Oh my gosh. Adrian, Adrian. Good joke, man. That was a good joke. That made me laugh. A couple of laughs against a big knock. So all right, let's move on here, Brad. Number 18 for me is going to be Dungeons and Dragons. Definitely another shocker of a movie that really impressed me. Just because I heard of the game, like of course the board game and all that, Dungeons and Dragons and all that. A lot of people play it in the basement and all that. Drinking some Mountain Dew, eating some Doritos, and all kinds, and maybe smoke a little something. But I heard about this and they turned it into a movie. But I feel like this movie did a really good job. If you're not a fan of the whole deal of Dungeons and Dragons, this can easily just entertain just the casual audience. And I feel like they did a good job at that. And of course, Chris Pine actually really surprised me. I feel like he was really good and he got to be Chris Pine because, you get those typical one, like particular actors, you know what I mean? Like they like kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like every movie he's in, he kind of plays the same character in a way. But that's kind of like what Chris Pine is for me. But he gets to be his most Chris Pine self in this movie, and I feel like he makes the movie work. So definitely want to give a nod to that at my number 18.
I like it. I fucking love it. Let's see, number 17, sorry. 17 for me, totally killer. You just talked about it. Yeah, I love combining slashers and time travel. What else is there to say? You said a lot about it already that I agree with. So I just, I like the lead actress in this movie. I thought she was fantastic. All the other characters were pretty solid too. So I liked it. Obviously it's kind of, I don't know, it reminded me of like Happy Death Day and Freaky. I know that's kind of the same. I think Freaky might have been the same director, right? As Freaky, maybe, or maybe not.
No, I'm pretty sure Freaky wasn't that Christopher. Help us out, Chad. I'm pretty sure Christopher Landon was Freaky, or unless if I'm getting that mixed up with Happy Death Day.
Let me see here. Yeah, this is Natanka Chanka. God, sorry, dude. Okay. Same producers, at least. Either way, Khan, and she did a good job with the movie. I thought. I apologize for that. Just rolled right out. I don't even know.
He was Freaky.
But yeah, either way though, I enjoyed the movie quite a bit, and it was just mixing that time, like Back to the Future style time traveling, high school stuff with like meeting your parents back in the, like all that stuff was really cool, but also just throwing in that killer element and having that killer kind of follow you to another time period and trying to prevent murders of your mother by going back in time. That's cool stuff. I like that a lot. And it had some nice heartfelt moments in it as well. So I'll give it that.
Alrighty, dude. Very good pick. Definitely totally killer. A very enjoyable time. Number 17. And guys, I usually do the leaving on this channel when Brad makes outrageous claims. I feel like for the first time ever, this is when Brad's going to leave. So, Brad, are you ready to leave?
I might be.
Number 17 is Killers of the Flower Moon.
Ooh, dirty, lurdy, girdy. What the hell? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let me explain why, ladies and gentlemen. It's because if anybody knows me personally, what is the one of the three things that I hate in any movie that they do?
Too damn long, Birdie.
How long's a piece of string, though? This was a 3-hour and 26-minute movie, and holy crap, I felt like I was stuck there for 6 hours at one point. I was about to send Brad a meme earlier about me being a skeleton, like still watching. But once we actually get to the second act of this movie, it starts to pick up a little more and you're more interested in the story and all that, which I understood what the story was, but it really did complicate it a lot during out of it. But let's talk good about the movie because, again, it's the top 20. You got to talk good about your movies here. Leonardo DiCaprio, awesome. The female lead, I think she was great too, and hopefully she wins some Actress of the Year coming up at the Emmys and all that. Hopefully she does.
That would be the Oscars. Lily Gladstone, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Say the name one more time for the audience.
Lily Gladstone, Native American, outstanding. She did a great job.
Yeah, and I am glad that she is in this movie because I thought she was spectacular and she definitely deserves an Oscar. And hopefully she gets it. But yeah, definitely this movie was clean. The cinematography was great. All the cast members did a great job. Martin Scorsese did a very great job in this movie as well, directing it. Another classic in his repertoire. I guess just for me is I'm not a big Martin Scorsese fan. And I know that's very criminal for me to say, but I feel like every time watching one of his movies, I was just like, damn, this movie's too long. But it's still a good movie, and that's why it's still in this top 20. So I'm going to stop at that before I torture it even more or just hurt somebody's feelings, mainly yours, Brett. So number 17 is Killers of the Flower Moon.
Well, and I'll talk more about it later, obviously, but
Oh, big time.
and I agree. I don't like the trend. I don't like the fact that like a lot of movies in my top 5 are 3 hours long, and this one's 3.5 hours long. That's a big ask. But I also say
that's almost as long as Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League.
But I say this, okay? The 4-hour director's cuts of movies is nothing new. We got the Lawrence of Arabia, and obviously we got that too in the 90s with Dances with Wolves. I mean, like obviously that movie was 4 hours and you watch the director's cut, and it happens. And I think Martin Scorsese at this point has earned the right to create a director's cut of a movie. And if he wants to make it 3.5 hours, whatever, as long as it's a compelling story, do it. But I don't like the fact that every epic movie that comes out, like Batman and John Wick now and Mission Impossible, they're all 3 hours.
Give me a 3-hour Batman movie all day, every day. Like there's some exceptions to my rule. Like
it cuts down on the rewatchability for me whenever they're so long. Like you can't watch it. You can't just kill a couple hours. You gotta commit half your damn day to it almost. But nonetheless, I'll talk more about it later and how much I like it. But number 17 or 16, what am I on?
Yeah, but I gotta get to Stephen Kenny's comment. Hating on my Chiefs, but you know what? Touche.
But that brings up another good point. Not related. I mean, it is. We sit down and spend 3.5 hours watching a football game. I mean, a movie any different? Not really. At least we don't have commercials every fucking time somebody gets a first down.
It ain't gonna be like that Commanders versus Jets game this weekend.
Oh god. Oh god. Okay. But anyway, nonetheless, okay, I digress. Let's move forward. 16 for me, Evil Dead Rise. Again, I dug the movie a lot. I think it's awesome. One of the better horror movies of the year. I just haven't really cared to go back and rewatch it since I saw it in theaters. So it's kind of dropped down. I haven't seen it since it came out. So it's kind of dropped down to 16. But nonetheless, very solid movie, a great Evil Dead movie. I liked it more than the Evil Dead remake or the sequel or whatever you want to call it from 2013. I do like it more than that. I like the skyscraper aspect to it. I think that's a perfect location to bring some deadites in and just, kind of give the people more confined space. Like a cabin's confined, but you got the woods. Skyscraper is like you're kind of fucking stuck on this floor and more so even stuck in your apartment. So I loved it. Good bloody moments. And I think, again, like I said in the video we just recorded, if I were to rewatch it again, it'd probably sneak up, maybe 5-6 slots. I don't know, maybe. But where it stands right now, it's at number 16.
Hell yeah. You know what? And I'm just glad it's in your top 20. So I forgive you, especially where a lot of good non-horror movies that came out. 16 is still a good spot for a top horror movie. So let's see here. My number 16. What's the first movie that outbeats Killers of the Mayflower Moon? It's has one of my favorite original songs. Might as well be the Mayflower. But anyways, this movie had hopefully at the Oscar wins the title of Best Original Song. And that's simply this. Peaches, 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 peaches. I love you. Wow. Number 16 is the Super Mario or Mario Bros. Movie. Just because I am a fan of the old Mario game, so I was very interested to see how they would transform this into a movie, especially with Illumination. Or wait a minute, is it Illumination? Let me look at that real quick before I talk out my ass. Illumination. And I felt like they did such a great job with this movie. The animation is just so beautiful to look at. And apparently it also joined the $1 billion movie club this year too. Actually, Brad, I think 2 movies made the $1 billion club. And I'll talk about the other one here soon. And I feel like both movies deserve it, especially Mario right here. Plus, this one's going to actually set up a whole like Nintendo, like kind of like a Nintendo U, meaning like Nintendo universe. So more movies are going to come after this one, kind of tying into Mario. I'm super excited to see where it's going to go. And Super Mario or the Mario Brothers movie, great start to it. I do not care for Chris Pratt's voice over for Mario, but I definitely do like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, even though I'm not a fan of Seth Rogen, but I feel like he does do the good Donkey Kong voice. So my number 16 is Mario Brothers. Oh,
Jack
also,
Black?
real quickly, yeah, Jack Black as Bowser, perfection.
Yeah, I love the fuck out of that. Okay, number 15 for me is Thanksgiving. Slasher movie set on Thanksgiving from Eli Roth. Again, dude, this thing had some killer kills in it, some good epic gore, some good stuff. The opening of the movie again, I'm not going to spoil it in case there's anybody here who hasn't seen it, but the opening at their version of Walmart on Black Friday, the day before Thanksgiving, absolutely outstanding. I think it's perfection. I thought that was that was probably where this whole movie fucking came from. Like he thought about this epic scene you could do at Walmart on a Black Friday. You got waffle makers for $7 and just chaos. I think that's probably like to me, that's where I think this movie idea kind of came from. Obviously, I know they did the trailer for or fucking whatever you call it back in the day, that where this thing derived from, but still, I thought it was great. And again, the characters weren't great in the movie. They were fine. They were serviceable. They, for what you expect in a slasher movie, I think they're probably above average, but still not really great. But yeah, I think, I mean, I enjoyed it. I was a fun time with it. And it's another one I'm looking forward to seeing again. And it's probably one I'm going to pop in every Thanksgiving, man, because there's not a lot of movies to really celebrate Thanksgiving. And this is going to give us that. And
Blood
I think
Rage.
I mean, you got a couple of them, but this
Thanksgiving.
is, Thanksgiving. But yeah, so I'll watch the shit out of it every year, I think.
Ooh, God, Stephen King dropping in the bombs, man. Freaking Thanksgiving's my third worst movie I've seen this year.
And see, he said earlier he saw like a shit ton of movies.
Yeah, he did say that. So that has to be one of them. Let us know if it's not Stephen. But you know what? Again, we on this channel we always say this, and we're always going to say this. We love different opinions on this channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't mind it.
No, not at all, man. Think what you want to think, because if we all agree, we all be boring as hell. So let's see here, Brad. I am at 15 here. So my number 15 is When Evil Lurks. I would say at this time, it's my most surprising horror movie of 2023. It is on Shudder right now if you've not seen this, but definitely has indeed one of my top 3 best jump scares of all time, because it just came out of nowhere and like really it legit comes out of nowhere. Like you do not know when this is going to happen. So there you go, guys. And I had a really good time with it. Definitely there's a nasty scene at the beginning of this movie if I just make it go but yeah, but the third act, that's the only problem I had with this movie, is this third act gets a little kind of not executed very well. I felt like they could have done a better job with it. It kind of got me lost and uninterested. But other than that, everything else, I thought it was a very clean movie, a very well directed movie. I was surprised when Brad told me the director of this movie was the same person that directed Terrified, which I was very surprised. But you know what, man? This director's on the rise. I would give him a big raise for him to create a big horror movie in the future.
Oh yeah, I think it's one of the biggest. Honestly, I think he's a little bit underrated in the horror genre because it's a Spanish director, does Spanish films, and a lot of people get turned off by that. But easily one of the better horror directors out there when it comes to actually giving you scares and making create scary films. Both movies had some of the scariest scenes in it.
Oh, big time. And I was thinking it's going to be a real heavy favorite in the Real Horror Awards this year as well.
Yeesh. Moving on. 14. Talk to me.
Well, Brad, of course. Okay, fine. I'll talk to you, man. So,
talk to me,
like
Goose.
Weather?
Yes. It's talk to me. I think this and Thanksgiving for me were a little on the overrated side, both movies, but they're still really enjoyable. I think it's still a good 4-star movie. I think it's really solid. But it wasn't one of those like everybody was talking about when it came out. It's so good, so scary, and like had a couple scary moments, couple what the fuck moments in there that I found intriguing. But overall, I thought the story was still compelling. And the lead actress in this movie again was great. And Australian, the movie was Australian. There's been a few Australian movies come out recently that I've checked out that I really dug the fuck out of, and this is one of them. So, another good movie. And yeah, it just it had some great moments throughout. The ending was fucking epic. I love the ending of this movie. as well. So talk to me.
Hell yeah. So okay, Brad, well, I'll talk to you. Let me talk to you. Yeah. So that's for all my wrestling fans out there. So my number 14, Brad. It's time to go pink in this particular ranking, man. Do you have any guess what pink movie I'm talking about?
My guess is Barbie.
It is Barbie at number 14, and it's the second movie of this year if I joined the $1 billion club. And you know what? I get it, rightfully so for this. And I actually had a good time with this movie. I think this one is definitely one of the best written movies when it comes to the terms of jokes and storytelling. And I felt like obviously Margot Robbie absolutely is pretty much she was created and born on this planet to play Barbie. I don't think you could get anybody else to play Barbie to nail it more than Margot Robbie can. She was terrific. Ryan Gosling definitely is the show stealer of this movie. He is a comedic genius when he wants to be. He is hilarious. Here's my only thing I have a problem and why it's stuck at my number 14. I get of it is this is towards a particular members of the audience. I get that, but some of the themes that this movie does go over, I'm not the biggest fan of. But again, I'm a guy, so of course I'm going to feel different than maybe a female will kind of like feel about this movie. And I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to be one of those guys like, oh, I hate this movie because of this reason. It's just I don't like it just because I just felt like it didn't work quite. It's hard to explain it without really going over the top. So just in case, I'll just kind of stop there. But I still had an amazing time with this movie, especially when Ryan Gosling gets his freaking musical number going, I'm just Ken. Like all that. It's another a nominee for the Oscars, I believe, is for Best Original Song. It's going to be that one. I guarantee it. So my number 14 is Barbie.
Man, hold up a second. I got a problem here in the chat. Holly here pops in. She said, Rosie, I live 45 minutes from Green Bay, Wisconsin. And then
I know where we're going at soon.
Zodiac comes up with a pretty damn good question. Zodiac said, Holly, you live 45 minutes from Lambeau and you like the Lions? And that, to me, Holly, missed opportunity, man. Missed opportunity. Like now, I like the Lions. I actually like them quite a bit now because Hendon Hooker's there. My boy, he's back up. Who gives a fuck? I like him.
But Brad, it's okay though because Holly bundled it with State Farm.
Not if you bundle it. Oh. But here's the deal, man. I would die for an excuse to be a Green Bay fan. You know, because they have some of the best. They have some of the best tradition. You know, like one of the best atmospheres in all of NFL.
Beer, cheese.
Yeah. The Lambeau Leap, dude. Like Brett Favre, like all this
beer, cheese.
You're talking cold ass games, like you fucking snowy ass, cold ass games, and I just think that it's one of the best fan bases in all of and but yeah, nonetheless, though, I digress. If you're a Lions fan, I get it, but dude, Green Bay though is cool. It's cool.
Beer. Cheese,
but I'm with you. But at the end of the day, Holly, I would. I actually like the Lions more than the Packers after saying all that. But if I lived up there,
Brad needs a new favorite team after this past week.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking. Falcons fucking suck, dude.
But anyways, you want to go with the bad and within the good at number 13, though?
Yeah, let's go. Number 13 for me, dude. Okay, this is a movie actually I wanted to put a little bit higher, but I just couldn't squeeze it in. No Hard Feelings. I thought this was one of the better comedy movies of the year. Directed by Gene Stupinski, I'm gonna say. Jennifer Lawrence in this movie, she really just let it all out there, and I mean that in more way than one. But I thought that she was great from a comedic standpoint in this movie. I thought her taking the lead in this, obviously running with it. I think she really fucking nails the comedic vibes, man. I think her character was great. Obviously, she, a well-written movie. She has good growth in the movie. All that fun stuff is great. It's all fantastic, but it's just hilarious, man. The way that it all kind of pans out. It's raunchy, it's R-rated. It's got some nudity in there. It's got some good fight scenes. It's got, I know. It's was this the moment we've all been waiting for, but.
It's like our favorite actresses have been getting nude scenes because I actually learned today that Emma Stone in Poor Things even has a nude scene.
Yeah, so she was nude, and that was fantastic, and I loved it, for that. But it was also the scene itself where she was nude was just fucking hilarious when she goes
Oh,
out there,
great.
and it goes from it's like she comes stomping down that beach like Steve Austin in the Royal Rumble, and she's ready to fucking kick some ass, and she does. She kicks all these asses. So I fucking loved it. The other dude in the movie, Andrew Fieldman, he was good too. He did a good job for the character that he was portraying. Like you really bought that, he was this dude. So I really liked it. I had a good time with it.
Hell yeah. And Holly, again, I did some research because I even asked this, like there's no way that's fully Jennifer. I was about to say Jennifer Aniston. Just Jennifer Lawrence. That was actually Jennifer Lawrence throughout the entirety of the scene. So no body doubles or anything.
And she liked to do it. She wanted to do it.
Yeah,
she was excited about it.
And that's awesome too. That actress is willing to do that too.
And they didn't do it again. They didn't do it just to do it. They did it to create comedic, a great comedic moment. One of the best moments of the year from a comedy standpoint. So
tell the story help tell the story too.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, so definitely agree on that. My number 13, Brad, I'm going to go with Joyride. And I'm not talking about the Paul Walker Joyride. I'm talking about another comedy movie called Joyride. It's just a story about these two, and I'm trying not to be all profile here, but two Asian women friends. They were childhood friends growing up and all that. And something happens, and they decide to go on this trip together, and they bring along two of their friends to go along with it as well. And talking about that raunchy comedy, this one definitely has raunchiness to it as well. But I felt like the chemistry between all four leads was just so hilarious when they get into their shenanigans. And trust me, they get plenty of shenanigans in this movie. And I think it's just such a good ride. Legitimately, especially one scene, a good ride. So my number 13 is Joyride.
I love it. I fucking love it. Except I don't because I haven't seen the movie. But number 12 for me, dude. I feel like I'm the only person. I know one other dude.
Oh, sorry, real quickly. Hey, Denise, how are you doing today?
What? D's knees?
Dude, my tongue got stuck and then alcohol. So y'all will never let me have just let that go for me. So
You're like
Denise,
Jar Jar
I'm so sorry.
Like Jar Jar when he zapped his tongue in that damn pod racer, man.
Oh. But yeah. Denise, how are you doing? Hopefully you're having a happy holiday season.
Welcome and happy Christmas, Harry. Where were we?
Ever get to mention that fucker's name? You keep his name out your fucking mouth.
Ron Weasley, dude. Everybody knows him. Okay. This next one, number 12 for me, I feel like I'm the only person that liked the movie outside of one dude that I know. His name's Chris. Not Snyder, but the other one. It's The Killer. That's the one with Michael Fassbender. David Fincher film came out to Netflix this year. Michael Fassbender was fantastic. Assassin movie, but it's not like, and I think that's where a lot of people didn't like it because they're, they see it's about an assassin, like, oh, it's gonna be badass. They're gonna go fucking murk some people, and you get that. But it's more about the style of it. It's more about the direction of it. I like the self-talk. Like it starts off the opening 10 minutes of the movie with him talking up this fucking kill, this assassination he's about to knock out, and the way that turns out was fantastic. And then the way that Michael Fassbender's talking to himself, that the self-talk will get throughout the whole movie is fantastic. I love that. The style from it, you get a lot of good actors in there. There's one fight sequence in this thing that takes place in Florida. If you guys have seen it or not seen it yet, that's actually one of the best fight sequences I've seen. It's brutal. Absolutely fantastic. And there's not a lot of action in the movie. Don't expect it. But that was great. There's another scene, too, with a fucking garbage can and, a couple people getting murked. And that was great, too. Tilda Swinton makes an appearance. She doesn't let you down. Great movie. Again, from experience, I've recommended it. Nobody really liked it. A lot of people at work watched it. They didn't like it. So there's probably a decent chance you won't like it either, but I would say try it out. It's slow. It's definitely a slow burn, but for me, I loved it.
Yeah. I apologize to Brad. I even texted this. I only got within an hour of this movie, and I actually texted Brad. I said, Brad, does anything happen in this movie?
Oh, it happens.
Yeah, something happens, but I didn't get to watch the upper half of it. So unfortunately, I did turn it off. It just wasn't for me. But don't take my word for it. I'll be with Brad. Watch it for yourself and get your own opinion about the movie,
Yeah.
because you never know. Like,
All right, David Fincher, man, this movie is like
I like the main actor.
same. Listen, yeah, Matt, fast.
Mhm.
Same writer as Seven here. It's the same writer as Seven. So I mean, there's a lot of good things. I never watched Mank, his last movie, but this one to me was a good, classic David Fincher for me.
There you go. So I'll go and let you have it. And if you've not seen the chat, if you got Netflix, give it a watch. So my number 12, Brad, I won't go into this much because you've already talked about it already. Talk to me.
Oh, hey, my name is Jeff, and I want to talk to you about the product.
Yeah, man, that Hefe, he wants to see the product. He wants to see about Talk to Me. Yeah, it's definitely Talk to Me. Definitely one of my favorite horror movies of the year. Just because I like the whole premise of the movie, and it kind of tackles two like things that go on in our world today as well in this movie. So it's just they did a really good job of that. Definitely, the lead actress does a very good job. Good concept and good scares. Good job setting the tone and atmosphere of this movie. So there's not like one moment where you can just take a nice, relaxful breath. You're just on the edge of your seat of what in the hell is going to happen next and what the hell you're going to freaking see. So definitely love Talk to Me, and it's at my number 12.
Good, good pick. Moving on, number 11. You talked about it already. When Evil Lurks. Again, some of the best suspense you'll see all year leading up to some of these jump scares. I think the director here really nails suspense, though. When you're watching the movie, great job of just kind of reading the room. There's an intense moment in the middle, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but basically, dude walks into a room, trying to pick somebody up. There's another family member there, all this stuff, but like you guys, if you guys have seen it, there's a dog in there. If you guys have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you will if you watch it. But the whole way that whole scene transpires, the whole way the camera's moved and everything, the camera's focused on certain, we know it's building to something, but we don't know the fucking severity of it, and it's crazy, and that goes on, and then it picks up and it just keeps going with it for like a few minutes, and it's just this crazy sequence, and that movie has a great, a lot of great moments like that. Obviously, it starts out like you said with the rotten dude that's fucking gross as fuck. Like it's one of the nastiest effects I've seen all year.
This shit box is gross.
Dude, it was, man. It was. It's like, dude, get me out of this room. We're not even there. We're watching the movie, but I felt like it was a 4D experience, 5D even with smells. You throw some smells in there. I was like, I could smell this guy right here, right in front of me. Nasty ass rotten dude over here. Basically he's possessed and his body's falling apart, and you'll get to it if you see it, but it's nasty as fuck. And again, it's great. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, so I'll probably end it there. But I will agree with Birdie. The third act, it feels like it runs on a little bit too long. I don't know exactly what was going on there at the end at times. Again, it's a Spanish movie as well, so you have to read the subtitles. But it was really well done, really scary. One of the scary movies of the year for sure.
Hell yeah. Definitely, it really is, guys. And you all will enjoy it. Again, it's on Shutter. Not Shutter, Shudder.
Shutter's full.
Yeah, Shutter's full. Wait, are you is that true?
It's true.
Okay, just want to make sure. It's like, forget it. Is it true? But my number 11, it's Thanksgiving. And guys, we've been like getting some good slasher movies within the 2020s, but I felt like what was missing in the 2020s is just that exclamation point, of like just really bring back of like a hell yeah, welcome. We are here to stay slasher movie, and Thanksgiving is that movie. It is all about the slashy goodness in this movie, and thank you, Eli Roth. We are thankful for you for making this movie. And so the kills were great. We definitely get a new slasher icon, and John Carver is his name. I feel like we're going to be seeing him. He's going to be sticking around for a long time. Especially, we've already got the announcement of the Thanksgiving 2, which I'm even more excited for to see it and to see where they go next with it. And it definitely has its comedic moments, but what makes Thanksgiving, like, it just sets that tone of the holy shitness, is the beginning of this movie. And when you know, you know. The only thing that holds this back for me for entering my top 10, unfortunately, is the characters. I know Patrick Dempsey, at least he tries. He's a veteran actor. Everybody else, I feel like it was just way out of their league in this one. And I understand they were just trying to introduce new people into the world of horror, the community, like actor wise. I just felt like it just didn't hit with me. It didn't stick. So my number 11 is Thanksgiving.
Dude, can I just say, I didn't say earlier how much I enjoy Patrick Dempsey in
Brad,
that movie.
actually, sorry, real quick. Chris, actually does have something. The tagline is second helping. So you're spot on. So no need to riot.
Can I just say how much I appreciated Patrick Dempsey in that movie? Like, I just, I thought
he was really spot on with what he did.
Seeing him come back to the horror genre, after Scream 3, it was really cool. And hopefully that motivates him to come back for Scream. Who am I kidding? Ain't nobody gonna be in Scream 7. Like, maybe just Patrick Dempsey could be in there, like just him running around. But yeah, you know what? Yeah, it was cool to see him back in the genre, though.
Dude, absolutely it was. And Brad, before we go to number 10 here, I'll go ahead and put 10 up. I want to address the poll real quick, because again, we're halfway. We have 24 votes right now. I'm going to still keep it up just in case if anybody else wants to vote or have not voted yet. So far, Brad, 67% of the chat, 24 votes, said that 2022 was the better year of movies.
I would concur with that.
I concur with that too as well, even though we're about to really get into some great movies here with our top 10.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, top 10 is here, guys. So again, if you guys have a top 10, you could drop them in. If not, we'll keep on rocking.
Yeah, and I'll just highlight them because I've been highlighting comments for out.
Number 10 is Air. Actually, Air, I thought this movie was great. Matt Damon, he's in there. Ben Affleck actually directed the movie. And it was good to see him come back to a very solid directed movie. He fucking killed it with Argo and The Town, and then he had a couple that were like, but this one rocked. And again, there's not really a lot to it. It's basically about the guys that work at Nike, and they're trying to get, basically Nike's kind of like, at this time they were bottom tier in the shoe developer. It's like Adidas and shit. Reebok even was better than them. They were like, down there, like, if you're doing a tier ranking, they wouldn't be at the top. And so they're trying to get Michael Jordan to sign a fucking endorsement deal with him so that they could basically get some get their product out there. And it was huge. It's basically what turned around the whole fucking thing for Nike. What made them what they are today is this whole Michael Jordan thing. And what I like about this movie is it really focuses on Nike and the character of Matt Damon instead of focusing on Michael Jordan. Like, you don't even see he's in there like at times, but you don't really fully see Michael Jordan really at any point in this movie. Because if they did that, it would distract you. It'd be like, oh fuck, it's Michael Jordan, like not the real Michael Jordan, but the actor that's portraying him,
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, no, the other one. But it was really cool. It's very good. I thought Matt Damon, again, he really kind of gave an Oscar worthy performance here, but it's really under the radar. I don't think he's going to be nominated for it, but he might be. It's still just Matt Damon doing Matt Damon shit, and he's always good at what he does. It's kind of like Leo. You always know what you're going to get when Matt Damon shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And he fucking kills it here. Again, Ben Affleck was great in the movie as well. He was there. Dude, fucking Jason, what's his name? Bateman.
Here,
Jason Bateman was in there as well. He was great as well. Good cast though. They fucking killed it. So I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really well done, and the story it told, it actually inspired me to read the book from the Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, afterwards. So it was good.
Hell yeah, man. And I'm going to just piggyback of what you said, because my number 10 is also going to be Air. I just made that change just immediately. Just actually, I was thinking about between my 10 and 9. Just wanted to jump on that conversation with you at number 10 being Air. And I just wanted to just add a couple more pieces of what you got to say because I totally agree with you, Brad. First off, Snyder says Viola Davis is a great actress too. Yeah, she plays Michael Jordan's mom, which she
Oh,
gets
yeah.
more. Yeah, she gets more of the focus than Michael Jordan, which
Yes.
again, I love that approach because again, I didn't want to know about Michael Jordan. We all know the story about Michael Jordan at this point, especially if you've seen that big documentary called The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. Definitely one of the best documentary series about in sports I've ever seen in my entire life. So we've already know about Michael Jordan and his journey. I wanted to know more about this side of the journey, and I'm glad that they focus on this, and it was terrific. And also wanted to throw out freaking Chris Tucker is back.
I forgot. Yeah,
you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Oh, it was fucking cool to see him. Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, dude, it was great seeing him back. But the thing, like you said, Brad, Matt Damon definitely deserves an Oscar nod, especially with my favorite acted scene of the year. It's that pitch scene with Matt Damon just legitimately giving his all just to sign Michael Jordan, dude. Like that whole scene just... Oh man, I really want to rewatch that movie again just so I can experience that scene. But I'm just glad I got to experience it in the theater because it's talking about the chill bumps. Like, dude,
Yeah.
such a well acted scene. Everybody does a great job. Number 10 is definitely Air.
It's great. Underrated, man. I really think it was
Super
underrated.
underrated.
Yeah,
It might be the underrated movie of the year.
It really might be. And for a long time, actually, like up until today, when I rearranged some things, it's been higher than this. You know, for most of the year, it's actually my top 5, but it's dropped a little bit. It's here
definitely
now.
Brooke agrees, so I'm glad.
Oh yeah, it was so good, man. That was epic. My number, where are we at? 9 here. Birdie is one that you haven't talked about it yet, but I'm sure it's coming. Probably, maybe in your top 5, 3, somewhere in there. That's going to be Infinity Pool. That's going to be the Mia Goth coming back, fucking slaying it with another award worthy performance that's not going to get nominated. She's fucking outstanding in this thing, as is Alexander Skarsgård. Both of them take it fucking to the bank. Skarsgård playing this author that's just kind of like, he's on vacation, just fucking soaking it in. He's out there with his wife, but then he runs into Mia Goth, and she's into his book, or so he thinks. And they're in this country where it's like this world where you don't really know what's going on, but it's like, if you go out there and you murk somebody, they don't send you to prison. Like, they just fucking clone your ass and they make you kill yourself. It's weird as fuck. Like, that's the way you get out of it. And that's like their entertainment or whatever. And it's like, that's what you got to do. So you see Alexander Skarsgård like out there fucking like, with another version of himself, and it just gets weird. And there's a lot of themes in there. But I love the performances, man. And the weirdness it gets. And I appreciate a good weird movie these days, man. But like I said in the video we recorded earlier, this is one that has stuck with me. I've only seen it the once when it came out, but it's like the more and more the year goes on, the more and more I think about this movie, the more and more I like it, and the more and more I want to just watch it again and keep coming to it. It's a well I want to go back to. And I think out of all the horror movies this year, aside from maybe a couple that I'm going to talk about, it's one that I'm going to continue. Like, I'm going to watch more of, because it's kind of like Shutter Island. The front of Shutter Island said it demands multiple viewings. I think this is the same thing. And where that came from, I don't know, but I think that I think it's awesome.
Okay. Brad Manley just likes it because it sponsors a particular shampoo. When you see it, you'll know.
It's creative.
Hey,
I like
it's a good way to make an epic scene. Cost like what, $5? Like,
no way.
So you,
no,
you
listen, that was high quality. That was high quality. And there's rumors that it was real footage.
Oh, I sincerely sure it was. If it was real, then never seen that movie again. Even though James.
Yeah, dude, that scene when he's walking out in front of their car and Mia Goth's out on the hood and she's drinking her champagne or wine or whatever, like that was good. That was epic. That was top notch Mia Goth right there.
Mm-hmm. It really was. So I will admit, because I'm on the side of Raymond here, I didn't like Infinity Pool. So I'm not sure what the fuck Brad was talking about being in my top 3, because it goes in a totally different direction on my list. So there we go. But yeah, I will admit one thing though. Mia Goth, absolutely terrific. She deserves a real horror nomination for Best Leading Actress in 2023. I will admit that for her performance. That's the one little thing I liked about that movie.
Yeah, and plus you like the breastfeeding.
Of course, I love a good breastfeeding. It just brings me back to good old days. But anyways, my number 9 vote, Brad, is going to be Evil Dead Rise. You talked about this movie earlier. I'm going to talk more about it, just because again, I like Evil Dead franchise. I think most people can actually agree to this. If not, then fuck me. That Evil Dead is the best horror franchise out there in terms of consistency and overall quality that most people would agree on. And Holly, real quickly, sorry, I just saw it. I believe Hulu has it.
Sorry, I just did the same thing.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Hey, you know what? Great minds think alike. So, but Evil Dead is the best horror like in terms of quality and consistency, and Evil Dead Rise definitely rise to the occasion on this. And it's also amazing too that Evil Dead Rise is going to go down in horror movie history. That if a horror community can bring a movie from streaming to theater, we did something special. And I'm just proud of us as a horror community to put this movie on the big screen versus at the time HBO Max, which is just now called Max. But we
Which
did
is the
that
same
as-
guy from Liar Liar, by the way.
He was a bad man or a pitiful fool in his grave. But dude, I love Liar Liar. But yeah, guys, this Evil Dead Rise. I just want to give a major shout out to Alyssa Sutherland, playing Ellie, aka Mother Deadite. She was absolutely phenomenal in this movie, and I hope she wins a particular Real Horror Award, the upcoming Real Horror Awards, because I thought she was that great. And plus, our lead protagonist, Beth. She it does that's the character's name. I forgot the actress's name on hand at the moment. But Beth was a great protagonist in this movie as well. I just love everything about this movie. I definitely need to give it a rewatch here soon. So my number 9 is Evil Dead Rise.
Good pick.
Oh, and we need to talk about the awesome title card too.
Oh yeah, of course. That was fucking epic, dude. At the beginning, after that scalp got taken off via drone too, all that shit. The beginning was dope, and they called back to the original movie when she goes up there and that chick's in bed and she's like reading the book that the girl's holding like behind her. It's kind of a callback to that card sequence in the original Evil Dead. So I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm. And real quickly, you know what? My mom and my brother really get on me for this all the damn time. It does sound like I'm saying horror, but I'm trying to say horror. So, okay,
Wait,
I'm
you just
fucked.
said it
Anyways,
twice. You said
move
horror
on.
twice.
Moving on.
Horrors. Okay.
Moving on.
Number 8 for me. It's another franchise movie here. We're going to be talking about Scream 6. It might be number 8, but it's still one of my favorite theater experiences of the year. I thought that this, you brought Ghostface to New York, and you did a lot better job than you did with Jason going to New York. I'll say that. We didn't spend, at no point were we in a sewer or on a boat or anything like that. So I appreciate it for that. And 2, I just thought that Ghostface was brutal as fuck in the movie. And again, I say it before, I'll say it again. His kill to attempt ratio wasn't great. I thought he should have gotten more kills, but I think the people had self revives out there, and they were they got
the
back
Juggernaut
up.
can.
Yeah, or the Juggernaut or whatever. Because they survived some shit they shouldn't have. But I just had a good time with it. And again, yeah, I think I wanted them to do more at the end. I wanted them to have more of an impact with the third act and either A, do something like so crazy mind-boggling that you couldn't believe it, or B, set up the next movie. Which I guess in hindsight, maybe it's good they didn't set up the next movie because it's fucking but at the end of the day, it was still a super entertaining Scream movie. I liked it more than Scream 5. It's my second favorite Scream movie, I think. Probably still to this day, about a year later almost, since it came out. Not quite, but it's getting there. I still would say it's my second favorite Scream movie because it just goes. It's never boring. I think Scream 2 used to be my number 2, but that movie, it gets a little bit boring at times. The pacing is a little bit off. This one,
Especially
it never has
second
that.
act.
Yeah. This one never has that. It's always, there's always something going on. I thought they did a great job of Nev Campbell didn't come back, but they they made it work with their new cast, and they did a really good job. And a lot of franchises that have returned have failed to do that as well as Scream has done. And unfortunately, it was all for nothing because they're all gone now anyway. But they were all, Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. They were all great in the movie. Obviously they really grew their characters in this movie, and I really liked it. So, but I loved it at the end of the day. And yeah, I mean, Chris Snyder said it right. I mean, I think I don't mind the axe, but again, I don't like how they went safe with some of the kills.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with that too. And Mega Cat said, "Amazing cinematic masterpiece." In the Scream world, it is a cinematic masterpiece with just the cinematography about the movie, definitely. But definitely, it's the original for me. And I'm seeing a lot of people bring down their Scream list in the chat, and I loving what I am seeing. Even though somebody in the chat, she wants her $2 back. So get someone, please give her $2. Rosie deserves every penny.
Yeah, never
But
let her go without her $2.
yeah, you greedy bastards. And also, real quick, Brad, ding ding. You want to take a guess what ding ding is for Steven?
Ding ding. That to me is.
I got the tiger.
I was gonna say no. It's Apollo. It's Apollo at the end of Rocky 3 where he said ding ding.
Yeah, but this is what he meant. But this was the second movie he was talking about earlier, Brad. That Scream 6 first two acts were amazing. I definitely agree. However, Act 3 was so awful. If Act 3 was good, it would have been my favorite Scream movie and in my top 5 movies this year. It comes at number 31. Damn. But you know what? Totally understandable.
And also, my man here, he watched a lot of fucking movies.
He did. So you know
it's
what?
like
That's
halfway.
It's the top half. So like, you know what? It still made it.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I want to make sure I didn't miss any comment here. No, I think we are. Oh, yeah, of course. Plot armor.
It wasn't good.
When you watch this, you'll know.
And that's the thing that kills me with it, man. I don't like, and again, I still won't spoil it because it's still, there might be some people that haven't seen it. The killer itself, I didn't mind it like too much. Again, I was hoping for something a little bit more epic. But it was, it was fine. Like, whatever. He still kicked ass when the ghost face mask was on and all that stuff. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. But yeah, it was but the plot armor was a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I'll talk a little more about Scream 6 later on. But my number 8, it's the new TMT movie. Here, let me get the full title. Number 8, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And I, as a very, very young child, I was a huge fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, especially the 2 movies that came out in the early 90s. Excuse me, what the hell? 90 and 92, especially with Secret of the Ooze. Ooze. If you've seen the newer movie, you know what I was just talking about right there with the ooze. It just has a nice flavor to it. Ooze. But dude, yeah, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Come to the games, the little animated series, and the older movies. I don't mind the Michael Bay movies as much. I watched them for the first time earlier this year. I was just bored that day. And I gave them a watch. I liked them okay. But this one, I felt like they did it to perfection. And damn right, Rosie. Kawa Bunga. Absolutely with this movie because they actually did the one thing, Brad, that I kept on getting mad at with every single thing about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they finally did the perfection with this movie. They actually made the turtles felt like fucking teenagers. They finally did it. They called it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They finally acted like they're teenagers. And it really helps when the 4 cast people for the turtles are actually like close to being children, like actual teenagers. So that's what helps with it. So I feel like they did a really great job with that. And I'll mention another movie later on in this list. Talk about high class animation that will change the game. This movie goes in a different direction in terms of its animation that I feel like will change the game as we're doing animation movies later on. Especially when you watch the trailer for the first time with the whole city of New York, you actually think it's a camera shot of New York, but actually it was an animation shot of New York, and it's just so breathtaking and it's just so great. High action packed, great comedy moments. So I highly suggest you all give this a watch at my number 8 of TMNT Mutant Mayhem.
Good pick. I will move on to number 7 here.
All right, let me get this 7 up. Doodaloo.
Okay. So number 7 for me. Okay. It's really the last Marvel movie that I had any interest in, and that's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Now that this is over, I could care less about Marvel. I thought Ant-Man was a disaster. It didn't do anything for me. I don't care about anything they're doing. I didn't see the Marvels. I didn't want to see the Marvels. And I don't care. But Guardians of the Galaxy really, to me, put a cap on that trilogy that we got. The Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. I thought it was super heartfelt. Again, James Gunn coming back to kind of wrap up his side of things in the Marvel universe, and I thought that he brought his A game again. I thought this might have been my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I haven't seen I've only seen the first, and really it's the same for me with the Marvel movies. I really enjoy them, and this is really the case for pretty much all of them. I really enjoy them when I watch them, but I never go back and rewatch them. Like the only one that I've seen multiple times is probably Iron Man and Avengers. Like I haven't seen Endgame since it came out. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's not that I'm not entertained when I go to the theater and I watch them. I think it's
Fatigue.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's because there's always something new that comes out, and I just I move on to the next part of the franchise. But I always had a good time with him. But I never wanted to go back and rewatch him. That's why I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 1 or 2 since they came out. But this one I thought was it was a really good story. The characters, again, a lot of great character moments. They dropped the fucking F-bomb in there. Which
perfectly timed.
I know. It was just like open the fucking door, dude. I did not see that coming. And it was just so random. It's like you get the F-bomb and you don't expect it at a scene like that, but it just it really worked for me. And I literally
technically the first F-bomb in the MCU too.
I thought it was. Yeah, I know they I thought it was. God, just thinking about him, just open the fucking door. And this came out too after I played the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, which is one of the best fucking video games I've ever played. I don't know, Birdie, if you played it.
Not have the chance,
dude. It's fucking outstanding. It made me like these characters so much more. And it's not the same characters from the movies, but I mean it's the same character, but it's not derived from the movies. It's not Chris Pratt and them. It's a different version. You should absolutely play it. You would fucking love it. I think it's on Game Pass. Download it, play it. It was fucking outstanding. But yeah, I watched this movie though. It makes you tear up a little bit. Rocket was fucking great in this movie. His story, everything about it. And James Gunn just fucking goes there, and I love it for that. A lot of people don't, but I love the fact that he goes there. As far as all these dark moments he puts in movies, I think it's great. And I think it's a breath of fresh air for especially the Marvel franchise. So. I love it for what he did. And this is actually a Marvel movie that I probably will go back and rewatch. I'll do the whole Guardians trilogy any day. And it's just a great group of characters that just fucking excels together. And he does so good with it. This is right up there probably with the Suicide Squad from last year, the good one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Nice. And Holly has a confession real quick. I have not seen a single Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Holly, let me tell you something. Let me talk to you. Yeah. Holly, you have to watch them because they are actually one of the best trilogies you will ever see. Is it my favorite Marvel trilogy? No, but it's easily my number 2 trilogy. And I will actually hold off on that because, of course, me being the Marvel guy, I will talk about it later on. So I will put that on pause just for a moment because I want to go back to some more. Actually, I'm not ready there. That's number 6. My number 7, Mr. Heath. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it.
Mr. Heath. You're supposed to say Mr. Stewart.
Mr. Stewart?
Dude, I'm trying to get you in the world of the freaking John Wickness, man. That's my number 7. It's John Wick, Chapter 4.
It went right over my head, man.
I should have just said Mr. Wick. You would know exactly what.
That I would have said, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, my number 7 is John Wick, Chapter 4. Very this one definitely was my most anticipated John Wick movie, just because I felt like with how the way they ended the third one, and a lot of people were complaining. I wouldn't say complaining, but they definitely kind of had the similar opinion that the third one was the weakest one, and how were they going to recover from that? Oh, they recover from that, my friend. Just like, oh, I have a brother. But definitely John Wick 4 completely fixed. I wouldn't say they fixed all their major issues because again, they was still a longer movie and it kind of got repetitive at times. First, second, and third act, they kind of had repetitive action scenes. But you don't care because you love these action scenes, and they were absolutely terrific. Of course, Keanu Reeves just knocks it right out of the park with another great performance. Love all the new additional characters, and as Brad always famously says on the channel, excellent telling of the world building. Especially we go to a different parts of the world now to enhance this whole world that we build for the Wick universe, and I think they did an amazing job. Especially freaking Bill Skarsgård playing the villain. Was he fucking nailed it as the villain in this movie? I wish he maybe did a little bit more, but I felt like he definitely brought that intimidating presence to his character and really gives it a rough time for freaking John Wick. But John Wick, being a badass that he is, had an amazing time with this movie. So my number 7 is John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah, and Stephen Kennedy said, "Ding, ding, 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 ding." This is the
Is
last
this
one.
his number 1?
Yeah, this is the one that he.
This has to be his number 1 movie of the year.
No. I think he's saying "Ding, ding" is in. It's not in his top 20.
Ooh.
I think that's what he's going for.
Okay, Stephen Kennedy, please let us know in the comments section. We'll pull it up.
I'll talk about it in a minute, but yeah, it's good pick. Good pick. Number 6, for me is Saul 10, man. And it kind of sucks. It didn't make my top 5. And maybe like really like maybe like kind of on my deepest levels, like maybe it did, but at the same time it didn't. Just because the issues with the third act, for me, the ending of the movie I thought was a little bit of a letdown. I think it could have been better. And honestly, if they would have nailed the ending the way I think they could have, it would have been a 5 out of 5, honestly. I thought it was fucking like the whole time I was watching this movie in the theater, I was out of town, but I made sure to watch it anyway. I was sitting there like fucking Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. I was sitting there fucking crying, like, like almost just because how good it is. I'm like, this has no business being in the Saw franchise. We're sitting here, we're telling a real character-driven fucking story in the Saw franchise. Are you kidding me? Me as a Saw fucking fanatic, I lost my shit watching this movie. I was over here all like, I was like, fucking yeah, dude, we're going here. Like John Kramer's getting on planes. He's going to Mexico. You got some fantastic cinematography in here, some good score. There's a good score that plays with it. And it's like, oh, we're really feeling empathy and sympathy for this John Kramer character who's murdered so many people. But now at this point, he's our protagonist for the first time in the franchise. And we're really on his side. And it really makes it a good revenge story, at the end of the day. But it's just, it's outstanding, man. And of course it doesn't hold back on the kills either. The traps is the best we've seen since the original run of movies. So I love that the wire trap, the wire saw fucking sucking bone marrow. Are you kidding me? It doesn't get better than that. I love this movie so much. I've seen it 3 times now. It doesn't get old. I love every aspect of it. I think, again, by far, it's the best story in the franchise. It's my second favorite Saw movie in the franchise, and I contemplated putting it at number 1 because I think it's the best written movie in the franchise. It's got the best characters. I thought about it, but again, I just love how dark and gritty the first movie is, and how mystery driven it is. So I can't replace it. But this to me is far and away the best characters, the best writing, the best fucking story of the whole franchise. So I love it for that. Kevin Gruder, thank you for giving us such a fucking epic movie this year in the Saw franchise and bringing this thing to true form. And the Saw 11's coming out now. Are we going to see Hoffman running around? We'll talk about it more later on the channel for sure.
Oh yeah.
But we're excited about it. It was fucking great, man. And again, I wanted to put it in the top 5, but there's some movies up here that I really love, so it dropped out. But again, it's the one I've seen the most this year for sure.
Dude, hell yeah, dude. And I'm glad that I know you're a big Saw fan, so I'm happy that you were super pleased with it and almost hitting your top 5. And Blu-ray Addict and Stephen Kennedy, I got your comments about John Wick because I have a good feeling we might come back to it here in a bit. I'll share those 2 comments when we get to that moment. Let's see here. Snyder says, I'll tell Kevin you said thank you. I got that guy on speed dial.
I said him. I responded right there in the chat. I said, "Thanks, my man. Please do."
There you go. And
The guy fucking
yeah,
killed it. He killed it.
hey,
He redeemed himself big time from 7, dude. He fucking props, man. This thing was legit. When it ended and Saw 10 popped up and they were walking, I was like, "This is fucking great." Again, the ending. So that's the thing about the ending, though, Birdie. This movie didn't need any kind of twist at the end. They could have just flat out played it. It's a prequel. We know that everything's hunky dory in the world of John Kramer at this point. They didn't need to do it. They did it because I think they felt like they had to do it, and it still wasn't great. And they still kind of left some loose strings at the end, some loose ends, I should say. And maybe Saw 10 or Saw 11 will wrap that up. But either way, I love the fuck out of it. Issues aside, I think it's fucking awesome.
Dude, hell yeah, man. And hey, Chris, by the way, if Kevin wants to come on Good Rule Hunting in the future, as we lead up to Saw 11, you can maybe hook us up.
Dude, I would.
Especially a feature podcast show in the future, maybe too.
Yeah.
That would be just perfect for the occasion.
I would fucking love it, dude. I would love to really dive deep into Saw 10 with him, man.
Oh yeah.
Even if he doesn't do Saw 11.
Hey, but man, do you want to know who also wants to dive deep into us too as Good Real Hunting? Fauci's saying, "Stick it in my ass and call me Susie. I love me some Good Real deep inside."
Bring lubricant. We'll make it happen.
And a trash bag.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely a trash bag.
No, you know what? Forget the trash bag. But anyways,
fuck it. So we'll do it. We'll do it raw.
Yeah, raw. Okay, anyways, let's see here. Okay, I was going to save those comments. My number 6. Let's go back into the world of Scream real quick. Scream 6 is my number 6. And Brad pretty much just nailed most of the details. I won't go into much more of it, except just describing a couple of scenes. The train scene. Freaking one of the most tense scenes in the entirety of the Scream franchise, done to perfection. Like, we got the trailer of it and we were worried about, oh, we've seen this in the trailer. But when the actual movie played, it enhanced it and it was amazing. And plus, it was just fun playing out all the Halloween costumes, which, by the way, guys, yeah, a Scream movie set during Halloween season. Beautiful touch. And plus we saw Mojo Jojo in there, which is great. And we'll get into the reason why for a future Scream watch party series in the future. But that one, the Gale's Ghostface fight was great. That was very tense. The freaking ladder in the balcony, that scene was very tense. And just a lot of tenseness into this movie. I feel like it's the most tense movie in the Scream franchise. And everything was just great. Again, Melissa Barrera, Jen Ortega knocked it out of the park. Plus the return of my girl Kirby. It's just great to see her again. It's just her getting that opportunity to get back into the world of movie making. And this was a perfect comeback for Hayden to come back into the world and playing a character that everybody wanted her to come back for. It's the return of Kirby. And hopefully we see her in the future again. Maybe she be the star of the new Scream movies. Maybe.
About the only one left.
You know what? Hey, I will freaking be there day one. But yeah, guys, Scream 6, it's my number 2 of the franchise. I loved it. Just the third act of the movie could have been executed a little bit better, but it got way out of control and kind of lost momentum. So that's why it is at my number 6. But you know what? Number 6 is still a great place for it.
Number 6 is good. Okay, we're cracking into the top 5 now, Birdie.
Top 5 time. So, guys, let us know if you want to put in the comment section. If you did want to do top 10, I definitely want to see your all's top 5 in the comment section. Do it now.
Yes. You talked about this movie already. It's John Wick, Chapter 4. I thought this was... Okay, so I said it when it came out. I still say it today. It's the best action movie I've seen. Not necessarily the best action movie I've seen, but it's the best action movie I've seen. If you catch my drift. This movie has some of the best action sequences I've ever seen. And they do such a great job with so many different set pieces throughout. One long takes. They have some long takes in here that are fucking outstanding. They have takes that one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the overhead scene where John Wick's running through the fucking building. He's got incendiary rounds and his fucking shotgun, and he's fucking blowing people away, and they're catching on fire. And it's like, it's just tracking him through this fucking building as he's just wreaking havoc. And I thought that was different for an action movie. We've seen, these close up one take shots where like you have the dude and it's like it's falling over his shoulder and he's fucking killing people and stuff, which I thought was great. But seeing that over the top of him like just going through, I thought that was really creative and really well done. I thought that was outstanding. And again, this movie does a great job. So John Wick 3 was good. It was great. Like, at the end of the day, this whole franchise has been fucking, stellar pieces, all 4 out of 5s minimum. This one I gave a 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely outstanding though. The ending if they wanted to wrap up the John Wick franchise here, I think they did an outstanding job of doing so. Yeah, exactly. Blu-ray. Yeah, I hope they don't make John Wick 5 because the ending of 4 is perfect. I agree. If they do, they do. They bring all the characters back. They really wrap up every loose end they had in the franchise. They put it in here and they made it happen. Just really an action epic, which we haven't seen really a 3-hour straight action movie in some time. And again, fuck, dude. 4 of my top 5 movies are all 3 hours plus, or right at it. Which again, I don't like that trend too much. But again, this movie goes by pretty fast. Like the pacing is still top notch. It fucking nails it. Great kills. The movie opens with some dude. Here's the thing I like the most, Birdie. John Wick 3 ends, with him falling off the building, and then he gets scooped up and put in that shopping cart by damn Lawrence Fishburne. And he said, "Hey, you ready to go kick some ass?" And he said, "Yeah." And then this movie opens with him fucking hitting that post, and he's like, "Hey man, you ready to go kick some ass?" And he said, "Yeah." So he's feeling it, and I love the way it opened and the way the whole thing. It's really just one action set piece after another the whole time, and they fucking killed it. It's just so entertaining the way they knocked it all out. That roundabout sequence too in Italy, perfection. Great.
Yeah. And Brad, to finish up John Wick for the bit, I wanted to bring this up from Stephen Kinney. He said earlier, John Wick felt like a video game to me, even more than the other 3. I played my PlayStation 5 when I got home and felt I was watching John Wick. It got 36 on my list.
36. Now we'll give you.
But dude, the freaking Dragon shotgun, man! Like bringing it back to the Modern Warfare 3, dude.
Oh, dude, it was great, and plus that scene at the end with the stairs, it was just it was just fucking like, it's like every time I'm playing like any video game, but I feel like I'm getting a kill streak, and then somebody fucking wipes me out, and I go all the way back to square one. Like that's the same kind of deal. But it was great, man. I'm sorry you didn't like it as much. I just thought, for me, again, one of the better action movies I've ever seen from an action standpoint. Might be the best. There's better action movies with better stories and better things where it all, but from an action standpoint itself, when that's what you're looking at, this is top notch for me.
Mm-hmm. It really is, man. So I'm glad you put it into your top 5. It just barely missed my top 5. And before I give my number 5, Brad, you'd be proud of this comment right here. The first time I went to a bar, I ordered a White Russian because of the Big Lebowski.
Dude, same. Really, maybe not the first time, but one of the first times. I remember going to fucking the City Cafe, Birdie. You were there. They had that bar in the back.
You got a White Russian at City Cafe?
No, they have a whole bar in the back. It was like what? You had the City Cafe, but then there was like a secret door. There was like a fucking secret door in the back, and they had a whole bar, like a smoking and everything.
No,
and I remember going.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I swear we'll go back whenever.
I was there for 4 years, and
They had a bar in the back. It was like a legit bar. There's
probably my fat ass was looking at the cakes, so
it's good ass cake though. But I'm telling you, I remember going back there and getting a White Russian. That was like right after I turned 21, not long after. So it was absolutely, and it was because of the Big Lebowski, because we just watched that for the first time not long before that. So it was absolutely same.
Well, I don't know about you. I'm feeling 22. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to bring Tay Tay into this chat. So I apologize, guys. So Tay Tay, go away. Go to Travis Kelsey's house.
Now, wait a minute. You mentioned Tay Tay's name, and I think we just got 85 new subscribers. I think you should.
Woohoo! And I'm wearing Kansas City gear. So thanks, Tay Tay. But Brad, I'm ready to go into my number 5 if you choose to accept it.
Let's do it.
All right, so my number 5 is going to be Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. And I was so looking forward to this because, again, once we got into Mission Impossible 4 with that whole new direction this franchise takes from the other 3, I'm a fan of this particular stage of the franchise, and they just keep getting better and better. And this movie is no different. Just because I loved all the action sequences. I actually preferred the previous Mission Impossible movie to this one, but this one is still phenomenal too, because all that this movie pretty much did was just set up part 2, where I think part 2, that's where we're going to get all of the action that we all know and love for Mission Impossible. But this movie still had plenty of that action, especially with the whole with the train scene, the whole car chasing scene, which I felt like that was freaking amazing. So they did a good job of that. And plus, again, Tom Cruise, freaking incredible. Of course, our girl that we freaking crush over on the channel, Rebecca Ferguson, does a great job in this movie. Simon Pegg brings all of his freaking goofiness and perfect timings in the movie that it does indeed need its goofiness. And I forgot Peggy Carter, who plays the girl that plays Peggy Carter in the Captain America movie.
Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell, yes. I thought she was a great addition into this movie, and I'm very interested to see what she does in the second one. So I just can't wait for the second one. I feel like they definitely just set this whole movie is to set up that second one, and they did all of that to perfection. I'm so looking forward to part 2 when it's ready to come out. So my number 5 is Mission Impossible, whatever number we're at this time.
So I just had a change in my top 4. I've been going back and forth on it all night. For number 4, though, for me is going to be Killers of the Flower Moon.
Nice.
Martin Scorsese. You talked about it a long fucking time ago. I don't even know what time it was.
Long time ago.
And I was like, what the fuck, dude? But okay. But you don't like Martin Scorsese. It's fine. This movie to me really reminded me of Goodfellas. With the way that it was edited, the way that the pacing went. It's classic Martin Scorsese. He's still dropping these bombs on us. Again, I know it's 3.5 hours, and it's not going to be one I rewatch all too often because of that. Because even then, Wolf of Wall Street's a movie I fucking love, but because of 3 hours, I've only seen it a handful of times, maybe 3 times. But this movie, I think it tells a really compelling story. They do a good job at. Originally, it was going to be. Like a whodunit kind of mystery kind of deal that they wanted to do with it. And I think that would have been fine. But the way they made Leo the main character, they made him the husband character here, and they really dove into this this complex relationship between him and Gladstone. It really worked better. I think it created a lot of different aspects to it that I really liked. One thing Martin Scorsese has always done well, and this is no different here in this movie, is bearing the exposition. When we're getting the exposition throughout the movie, he puts these little flashes of scenes in there. It's like, we're saying something that happened, we're building up the story, but we're showing you. We're not necessarily just talking about it with characters. We're like, we'll go back and we'll bring it in and we'll show you that quick sequence. And that happens throughout this movie so many times, which to me makes this 3.5 hours actually go by pretty quick. I thought the pacing was actually pretty outstanding for a movie this long. I was always compelled with it. I thought, obviously, Leo, another Oscar worthy performance here, fucking killed it. Absolutely outstanding. Gladstone as well. Robert De Niro comes back. This is Martin Scorsese giving us all of his A-list actors that he's had over the years with, well, except for Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci. He was missing
Speak
from
of
this.
Joe Pesci real quick.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Not saying that it's a piece of shit movie, but it's just Joe Pesci.
No, yeah, no, Joe Pesci. I think you have to do it. But I like Robert De Niro and Leo are like his two big time actors that he's had over his multi-decade, 4-decade career that he's had. So to see them both together in this movie acting together was it was a treat, man. They killed it. And again, I think it was really cool to see this story. And then Jesse Plemons shows up, and that motherfucker, Jesse Plemons, aka Lance from Friday Night Lights, he's going to stumble upon a fucking Oscar one of these days. It's not necessarily going to be here, but he comes in with another fucking kick-ass performance of the FBI agent in this thing that was absolutely outstanding. Brendan Fraser showed up randomly. The cast was amazing.
I was about to mention, dude, I did the whole Leo point, like, hey.
I know. And I knew when they announced the movie, I knew he was in it, but when he popped up, I was like, holy shit, it's fucking Brendan Fraser. The cast was so good in this movie. They all brought it, and the story itself was great, based on the book, of course, which is based on the true story that this movie is based on. And I think it's a good story to bring to people. And again, they focused on Leo's character, who's the bad guy, but they made it work. The writing was so clever and well that you cared to follow this character, despite the fact that he's a hideous human being. You made his counterpart, Robert De Niro, even that much worse. So you're caring for him. You're at least caring to following him. At the end, whatever. Fuck this guy. But at the end of the day, you care, and it's very compelling, and the way that the whole story comes together is outstanding. So give me Killers of the Flower Moon at number 4.
Hell yeah, dude. And I'm so glad that you really enjoyed it. It's just I did enjoy it, but again, just with the movie length and all that and the pacing, I felt like I was just there for 6 hours, and you just know me with long movies. But I do appreciate like, I might not be the biggest Scorsese fan, but I do respect him as a film director. I know he does great work. It's just not for me personally, but I'm glad it's for you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, absolutely. I think he's one of the best there ever was, the best there ever will be. The best there is, even. And it's great that he's getting up there in age too, but he's still able to make a banger like this that matches, to me, like his prime movies as far as the attention, the detail that he throws in there. So, yeah, I'll take it.
Hell yeah, man. And remind me to ask you a question off air because I don't want to spoil anything. It's just because I made an observation I meant to ask you about it. So just remind me.
Yeah.
My number 4, Brad, you talked about this earlier, so I won't go into big detail about this one. And that's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Definitely what we call Phase 4 to MCU. It's just the trauma side of the MCU, like the phase, calling it the trauma phase. And this one majorly fucking tugs at your heartstrings and causes you trauma in this one because of how fucking emotional this movie is.
Tug session?
It could be a little tug session, tug of the little heartstrings in other inappropriate regions. But man, this movie is just absolutely breathtaking of storytelling. I would probably, if I had a little nitpick, I don't think the soundtrack, or actually, it definitely had the best song within the soundtrack. But as a whole of the soundtrack, I don't think it compares to the other two. But there's one song in particular that freaking rocks our hearts. Freaking gives us a freaking heart on every time we hear that song. And that's the one that they use at the ending. Do you remember that one, Brad?
Yes, it was that super popular one. What the fuck was it?
Just ask for your father.
Yeah, that one.
Like,
And
without
they even
going
did,
to yeah, dude, like, I don't want to spoil that because that's a big part of the movie. They play onto it. And just what James Gunn has done with these characters for when they first introduced the Guardians in 2014, which, guys, we didn't even know who the Guardians were in 2014. But when James Gunn brought these characters to life, and then throughout the years, he develops these characters and finishes it out with this, with Volume 3 right here. Perfection. Just as good amount of perfection as you'll ever see in a journey. Definitely one of my favorite trilogies of all time. It will go down as. And of course, Rocket is a lot of people's favorite Guardian, and this is pretty much a whole Rocket story. And I'm glad we got this story because technically we're supposed to get a 4th Guardians, and it's supposed to be the Rocket story. But I'm so glad that they kind of James Gunn wanted to rush this up because he's about to go over to the DCEU now to rejuvenize. Yeah. Celebration.
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy.
Yeah. But Anyway, so James Gunn wanted to wrap it up, so I'm glad he actually threw into this. He did tackle the Rocket storyline into this, and because it deserved to be told. Definitely so freaking sad. And Brad, you said it earlier. James Gunn fucking goes for it, and he kind of pissed off a certain community into our world. He kind of pissed them off a little bit, but you know what? If they can't handle it, stay out of the kitchen. But man, I'm just glad he did. It's just everything was so great about this movie. The whole last scene of this whole movie just is a freaking tearjerker. Makes you want to cry because you love the character so much. So my number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Good pick. Number 3. Okay, I just made this change between 3 and 4 a minute ago, and it's because I knew recency bias had me by its grasp, and it was going to make me pick one over the other. But I'm going to go
it's
here.
It's a thing, man.
It is, and I think this is going to make me happier in the future when I rewatch this video in a year or so. Number 3 is Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. I thought this was a fucking outstanding movie. It just, each Mission Impossible movie after Part 4 has just topped itself. 4 was fantastic, fucking great. And then 5 was better than 4, then 6 was better than 5, and then now I think 7 might be better than 6, but it's close. 6 might actually still take the cake. I have to watch them all again. But I think this movie was one that was in production during COVID back in 2020. I remember there was that big rant that Tom Cruise let out when people were talking to him. He didn't want to catch COVID and delay production and all that stuff. So this movie was really written before AI became as big as it has become this year. And that's the whole premise of the movie is AI is kind of like the villain of the movie. And so it's always like out predicting our characters and predicting every move they're doing. And I really like that aspect of it. Like they're going through it. They're like, oh, we think we're getting ahead of this. But then AI is like, oh, we already know what you're going to do. So we're ahead of you. So I like that. I think it's really relevant for this year, particularly. And the action set pieces here are just as good as always. Like you have fucking Tom Cruise doing probably most people have seen the stunt he did in this movie, the big stunt he did. And he's always done one huge stunt in the last 4 Mission Impossible movies. This one, there's a fucking cliff and Tom Cruise literally did this for the movie. He ramps this fucking massive ass fucking cliff, like fucking probably 600 feet, maybe more.
Yeah, you see it in the trailer too.
You see it in the trailer. He ramps a fucking motorcycle off this fucking cliff. And this actually happened. Obviously they used a little bit of CGI to create like a rock when he ramps off, where in reality he had a ramp, but that's the only change they made. He actually fucking takes a motorcycle, ramps it off a fucking cliff, 600 feet, maybe more. I don't know the footage per se. I haven't measured it. I don't know. I haven't looked. I'm just guessing it's at least 600 feet easy. I mean, it looks like the fucking Grand Canyon. He fucking ramps it off a fucking cliff and parachutes. The fucking motorcycle crashes at the bottom and he parachutes down. Literally, he did that for the movie. And again, I don't think enough people really. And say what you want about Tom Cruise as an actor, I think he's fine in that regard. But the stunt work is fucking unreal. No, this guy's 60. Like he's 60 years old now. Like he's like 59, 60, somewhere in there. Like right there, and he's still fucking doing this shit. I think we owe it to Tom Cruise to put his life on the line for our entertainment. So I like the guy's fucking going out there and doing this crazy ass shit, a crazy ass fucking stunt that nobody else would do, especially an A-list actor like Tom Cruise. Like for all intent, like as far as draw goes, you put Tom Cruise in a movie, people are gonna go. So he did that, and you got to respect him for it. The story itself was compelling. Rebecca Ferguson, fantastic in the movie. Atwell as well. Everybody did a great job in it. You had all these other things with the trains and all this other stuff going on. But and I also like the way it connected to the first Mission Impossible kind of movie, going back into why Ethan Hawke is in the IMS and why he's there and all that stuff and why all the other characters are there, kind of just going back and creating that aspect to it. So I really like it for that.
Dude, speaking of going back, it finally clicked in my brain. Train. Because the first Mission Impossible ended on Train.
Oh yeah, it did. That they recreated again. That's another one. That's another scene. In the first Mission Impossible was heavy in I guess CGI, shitty ass 90s CGI with the helicopter chase. This one they're like, okay, let's recreate that. Let's do it right. They get Tom Cruise out there freaking duking it out on top of a train. Again, another fucking crazy stunt he's doing. Absolutely fantastic. I really would, yes. Blu-ray, I totally 100%. He's got to be like, say what you want about Arnold and
Mount
Sly.
Rushmore.
Tom Cruise is the best fucking actor, director, or action director or action performer out there, in my opinion, because he does all these stunts for real. And nobody does that. No other, especially an actor of his level, nobody does that. So I would put him up there. He's instrumental to the action genre, and he does it time and time again. And he does it for cinema. And he loves the attention. He loves all the fame and stuff. But he's still showing up. He showed up to all the the premieres for this movie to just greet the fans and all that stuff. So I thought that was really cool of him to do that. He just loves this franchise and he loves giving us these movies. So he's broken bones. He's fucking, had injuries doing this. Keanu Reeves too, Chris. Thank you. Good point. He does a lot of this shit too. So I respect it. I love it. And give me Mission Impossible #3.
Dude, hell yeah, man. And another character or actress I want to announce too, because I feel like she's getting ready to hit it big, is Kirby Reed.
Yes, yeah. Oh, and she's got another movie coming out. Actually, I just saw.
Well, and she was previously in Napoleon, which I feel sorry that she had to suffer in that scene, because I felt like her talent got wasted in that movie. Unless if once the actual the full on movie is supposed to be originally cut for 4 hours, which I'm not going to watch that, by the way.
Again,
I'm not going to watch that. But from what I heard like the whole 4 hours makes Napoleon a lot better. But the cut version they did release in theater so they could be nominated for awards. You can pass because they just make Napoleon look like a joke. But I'll just save that for another time. But yeah, Brad, good pick on Mission Impossible.
I love it.
So my #3, it's time to hit an explosion on this one. Time to hit that button on the explosion. And that is going to be Florence Pugh's Nips. Excuse me. I mean, #3 is Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, I absolutely like. Here's the deal. Again, it's kind of like Martin Scorsese here. Like, I like Christopher Nolan. I respect him, but some of his movies just don't land for me until you bring in Batman, of course. I feel like obviously I'm going to be invested in it. But other movies, it's just like a hit or a miss for me. Like Inception, it didn't land for me. Freaking Tenet, I liked it for what it was, but still wasn't necessarily the best for me. Oppenheimer, on the other hand, and Chris already brings it up already, 5 out of 5 movie. So actually, I want to take a gander real quick. Okay, yeah. Starting with Guardians, that's where everything from here on out for me is a golden reel 5 out of 5. I got 4 golden reels from this year, which is a 5 out of 5. But yes, Oppenheimer is the second one I give the golden reel to, because I felt like this is the movie that has to give Christopher Nolan his Oscar for Best Director. Not only for that, this has to be the one for Cillian Murphy to get Best Actor at the Oscars. Like, if those two don't win, what are we doing, Oscars, at this point? I really don't know. Are we just trying to figure out ways how to slap each other on stage at this point to be entertaining versus just doing what is right? But yeah, Oppenheimer, dude, cinematography-wise, so beautiful. The acting, beautifully perfection. I feel like every character they introduced did it absolutely perfect. And yes, this is another long movie, but I actually enjoyed the story that it told, and I was ready. I was just so invested, and those hours just flew by so instantly. And plus, hearing about Florence Pugh in this movie in a certain scene kind of helps with me. Yeah, a little bit nipply out there. I do definitely agree, Holly. Perfect set, I will admit. But of all seriousness, though, Florence Pugh was also really good in this movie as well for what she was given to do. I think she'll win Best Supporting Actress, maybe. Again, I'm not the expert. Brad and Chris are more experts than I am in terms of that. But Emma's I was about to say Emma Stone, but Emma, not Watson. Who's the other
Emily
Emma?
Blunt.
Emily Blunt. Yeah,
that's the one. If anybody's gonna be on, it'll be Emily Blunt from that movie.
Yeah, because she was really damn good in this one as well. I actually am on and off for her. That movie, for her performance in Oppenheimer, is my all-time favorite performance. I feel like she knocked it right out of the park, and everybody else too. Even freaking Josh from Josh and that one ever show on Nickelodeon. He was in this movie, and I liked his performance too. Even Matt Damon was in this movie. And he gave off a great performance as well, especially a good comedy line in this movie. I thought he knocked it out of the park. Like, Wait, what are the chances of this failing? There's a chance of so there is a chance that we can blow up the world. Yeah. Dude, it's just extraordinary. And plus, of course, the big boom in this movie is just so beautiful to look at. They did that to perfection. And Brad, I'll leave some for you, so I'll stop there. Number 3 is Oppenheimer.
Don't forget about Josh Hartnett as
Oh,
well.
dude. Well,
Fucking-
don't forget about, I'm even going to let you talk about it more in your section of RDJ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we'll
Number
get to
2 for
that.
me.
Oh, real quickly, because I'm a big fan of his channel. Born to be Rad. This is Garrett. What's going on there, my friend? Popping in to say, hey, what's up, dudes? Happy holidays. Thank you so much for just saying happy holidays, my friend, and we appreciate you being here.
Welcome to the party, my pal. I wish you a happy new year and a Merry
Dude.
Christmas too.
Garrett, that is a rare treat for Brad to start singing, so that's a big honor.
You remind me of Garrett Wilson. What can I say? But that's not a good thing because he's fucked me more times. Anyway,
Dude,
okay.
this is the better Garrett, I promise you.
I know. I totally. You can't be worse. That's for sure. I think you're the best Garrett of the two for sure. But welcome, and we're glad to see you here. Number 2 for me is one of the biggest surprises of the year for me, and that's Godzilla -1. This is a movie that
you did it.
I did it. I did it. You son of a bitch. I don't like Godzilla. I've never liked a Godzilla movie that America has made. I don't care about any. I don't Godzilla versus Kong. Godzilla, the King of Monsters. I didn't like it. I don't
But Brad,
like
it. But if even though it might be Godzilla, but technically due to copyright laws, it is not.
it. I didn't like any of the Godzilla movies that I've ever seen. So this movie, when it first came out, I saw a little bit of buzz. I was like, oh, no, Godzilla, I don't give a fuck. But then like more and more people that I respect in the community were saying this movie is fucking fantastic. So I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. So one Friday I was off and I was like, okay, this movie's playing and okay, let's watch it. Let's give it a shot. Why not? I'm not doing anything else. And I went to the theater and I got my ticket, I got my popcorn, I put jalapenos in the popcorn. I'm sitting there and I'm watching this movie. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was blown away by it. I was like, this is not even a guts. This is an epic fucking story, like a heart-wrenching, tragic story, set, obviously it's set in Japan, okay, and it's a Japanese movie. You have to read subtitles to see it.
But it's not that difficult though.
No, like you don't even remember it, halfway through. And you're sitting there and you're watching it. It's set in Japan right after the World War II, right after the nuke was dropped, and this whole community is obviously they're all torn up and shit. Like, they're rebuilding. Godzilla shows up. Actually the opening, fucking awesome. The opening was like, holy shit. Like, we're not even going to have to wait to see this shit. But then it starts focused on this character, and he meets this, this girl, and this girl that she found, and this family, this kind of like forced together family they put together while they're trying to build their home, and it's just so compelling. The story is that I forget that I'm watching a Godzilla movie, and then Godzilla pops up, and it's like, holy fuck! And honestly, I told this to the boys in our group chat.
Surprise, motherfucker.
This movie reminded me, it gave me serious Christopher Nolan vibes throughout the whole movie, the way it was paced, the way that, everything was explained and everything like that. It was so well done. Again, so tragic, diving into survivor's guilt, diving into all this stuff, because the main character, it's not really a spoiler because the first 5 minutes you learn is the main character is this kamikaze pilot from World War II that, he
didn't do a very good job at surviving.
Yeah,
or actually, he did do a good job.
Yeah, he cowered it out of the kamikaze thing, which is, and that's the whole kind of premise of his character, and that's the whole. He feels guilty about it the whole time because his country lost a war, and this whole thing's going on. It's this really character-driven fucking story, and it's so good. And then Godzilla is the most terrifying I've ever seen him be. I haven't seen the original movies or anything like that, but they actually make Godzilla into a fucking horror villain in this thing. He's a fucking a force to be reckoned with. He gives no fucks. He's out there. He's fucking blowing up cities. His atomic breath is better than I've ever seen it because of the impact that it has on our characters. And it's so good for that. And I know Brett and I have been arguing about this for weeks now. Like, are we going to include this for the
I
real
officially
horror
threw the white flag, by the way. But
yeah, he did. And a lot of people are saying, oh no, it's not a horror movie. And I say bullshit because it's like, okay, if you're going to count Tremors as a horror movie, if you're going to count Jaws as a horror movie, or Lake Placid, like this has to be a horror movie. It is. It literally is. It's the same concept as those movies, but just because it gives you a good story on top of that doesn't mean it's not a horror movie. And it does. And again, it does dive into drama. It dives into it dives into thriller. Like it's multi genreistic here. Okay, it's kind of like Seven in that regard, where it dives into multiple different things. But for me, it's absolutely there's a scene in it that is almost straight from Jaws, but it's with fucking Godzilla, and it's so fucking good, and the way that it brings it in is so good. And this movie, a Godzilla movie, brought tears to my eyes by the end of it. I was so fucking into it. And I remember watching the end, I was like, holy shit, this whole fucking thing is outstanding. Now, I will say the ending, saw it coming, the twist at the end, but that's okay. It didn't matter at the end of the day. Like it was still fantastic. So I just fucking, I loved it. It was one of the best movies of the year for me. Absolutely. Number 2, easy. And I considered putting it number 1 for the longest time.
And I thought you did. So I thought we were on the same page. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. You did.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it at the end of the day. But again, it's probably still, even though now the one thing that pisses me off about this movie is they didn't put it in fucking IMAX. They had me on the smallest fucking screen in this theater. I guess because it's foreign. I was like, this would have been a fucking epic IMAX movie, dude. They didn't do it. It was fine. It was still like top 3 theater experiences of the year.
They might do a re-release of it too because of all the success, and if they might do a re-release for even for a 4DX showing, I feel like they'll make more money off it too.
Yeah, 100%. It should be. Let's celebrate it for what it is. Let's celebrate this. Like this, it's not every day a movie comes to this genre that's so fucking good and so character driven. It's here. Let's celebrate it. Let's make it be known that this is the genre that we love, and it's doing such a good thing with it.
And I want to pull up Rosie's comment because that is the main argument that you were arguing for. It's a creature feature.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. This is the original creature feature, and now it's back better than ever. So let's just let it rip.
And Aaron Click also brings up Gremlins as to be multi-genre. It's action, adventure, Christmas comedy, horror. Kind of like how Godzilla -1. It's technically it could be a war movie, it can be a drama, and horror too. So it's so how unique how some movies can combine a whole bunch of different kinds of genres and just formulate one movie.
Absolutely, and this is a great example of that.
Real quickly, what do you think about this idea, making it black and white presentation?
I'd see it. I cannot. This is a movie I cannot wait to see again. I
think it's better in color, but I wouldn't mind a black and white presentation.
No, either way, color black. I don't care. I'm dying to see this movie again. I don't know if I'll see it in theaters again because I just don't think I'll have the chance. But this is one that I'm dying. I cannot wait to see this movie again. It's outstanding.
Yeah, I need to check on the release date because I will say
watch party maybe.
Yeah, watch party, and you might actually see this on the official ballot. We're just hoping that it makes the official ballot. Is that we are making Godzilla -1 an official nominee selection if it gets throughout that process. So it will count for our Real Horror Awards.
Absolutely, dude. And I think, dude, I didn't mention the fucking score. The score in this thing.
Yes, when they bring back the original score.
Oh, they bring back the original. The score outside of that, dude, it's fucking it's epic, man. The score is one of the best things about it. So good.
Yeah. So damn, I'm not sure how I'm going to top that one here because I don't know, man. So we're going to go ahead and go to my number 2 here. This one's difficult because this one could go back and forth, but it's kind of due to recently bias a little bit. Is why probably one gets to edge out the other. So my number 2 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Brad, I understand you don't like the animated Spider-Man movies. You probably don't care for it, and totally good, totally fine with that. But if I can implore you to maybe if you had a free day to check out these 2 movies. Highly suggested. And I think it might actually change your mind.
I saw the first one. I did.
Oh, you did see the first one, but okay. But I definitely implore you to watch the second one because it is miles beyond better than the first one.
Miles.
I didn't even mean to do that.
Listen, if it drops on Netflix, let me know. I'll check it out.
or any
There's
other
some-
streaming service. I'll
Yeah, or
definitely
whatever.
let you.
Yeah,
Or I might
right.
have, or we might buy it. But anyways, but this movie, folks, guys, this is how you freaking do a sequel, because it just takes everything from the first story they told and they just double it, but they actually put fucking stakes into this movie, and they put our main character Miles into such a predicament. We don't know how it's going to end, and they do such a great job setting up this second movie. In this second movie, they did such a great job setting up for the third final conclusion. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a couple of years before we figure out what that particular ending is going to be. But I'm super excited for it. But the main thing is, Brad, if you love good storytelling and character development, then they definitely made this second movie mainly like it's mainly about Miles, but it's mainly also about Gwen Stacy, so Spider Gwen. That they did such an amazing job of making you care about her character and for all the struggles that she personally has to go through throughout the entirety of this movie. It's just, and also too, the animation, dude, is where most of the budget went, for obvious reasons. But the animation of this movie is game changing. I know I talked about TMT potentially being game changing, but this one was the one that made TMT step up their game to create a whole nother side of animation we've never seen before. But this one for Across the Spider-Verse will be known in movie history as the game changer in terms of animation style movies. And also too, on Letterboxd, this is the highest rated 5-star movie ever, and the quickest to ever do that change too. This movie is absolutely spectacular. And again, I challenge anybody. I don't even think you have to be a Spider-Man fan, even though if you're a Spider-Man fan, this definitely is going to like please you as a Spider-Man fan. But if for some reason, if you're not, I still think for storytelling alone, you're going to love the fuck out of this movie. It's just due to recent bias with a certain other movie I'm about to talk about. It's not my number one, but for most of the year, it was my number one. But unfortunately, it's my number two.
Number two. All right, let's talk about my number one here. This is the moment we went for. I think most people can, based on reasonable deduction, know that this movie is going to be Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan's. Of course, this was an excellent experience for me because they had the 70 millimeter IMAX showing in 30 theaters in the whole fucking world, and one of them happened to be about 20 minutes down the road. So I got to go see it in that format, and it was honestly one of the best theater experiences I've ever had in my life. It might have been, actually. It's up there with The Shining when they did that re-release for Doctor Sleep. It was really cool for that. And again, it was just, I think this movie, honestly, when I saw it, I said this thing should absolutely sweep the Oscars this year. We're talking best performer in Killing, and I've been waiting on Cillian Murphy to get a lead role in a serious movie for a long time because he's fucking outstanding. Like Peaky Blinders, he fucking kills it. Any supporting role he's had, he's always killed it. Scarecrow, Tenet, the Tenet dude, the little dude in the Tenet movie, or not Tenet, Inception. I'm sorry. He fucking kills it in that. Any Christopher Nolan, he kills it. He comes in with this lead role and he fucking takes it out of the park. And here's the thing about Cillian Murphy: he's not what you expect from an actor of his magnitude. He's a very humble guy that doesn't really like to talk about himself, and he doesn't like to promote his own stuff, and he doesn't like to talk about himself. He's very he's kind of an introvert that likes to just talk about other people. And the way that he's able to bring, which makes me think that his performance here in this movie was so outstanding because it's so far not who he is as a person. Whereas when we see, I think is when I saw Killers of the Flower Moon, I said, oh, Leo's got a chance to win this now. He could steal it from Cillian at this point. And Leo is an outstanding actor, and his performance in Killers of the Flower Moon is absolutely outstanding. But it's still Leo, that it's still kind of his personality that you see in all of his roles. It's still kind of there's always a little bit of a spider web, if you will, that connects all the Leo movies. It's not necessarily always the same character, but you can always see Leo. Cillian is not like his characters at all, which makes me think that he's doing a much better job of actually giving us the character that we want to see. He's actually he's actually giving us a better performance to bring this character to life. And his character here as Oppenheimer was absolutely fantastic. So I really like him for that, and it's really jaw-dropping. But then again, I think best actor, I think he should win it. I really do. That's my pick. Best director, yeah, Christopher Nolan here. I think he finally needs it. Best writing here in this movie. Best editing here in this movie. Supporting actor Robert Downey Jr. Chris, you've said it a couple times. Absolutely. I think this is again so far against the traditional Robert Downey Jr. performance that we usually see that to me speaks volumes that he's not just playing Robert Downey Jr. again, he's playing a character and he's fucking bringing it to it. He's bringing his A game. He's fucking such a great supporting actor in this movie that really adds a lot to this movie. That's what a supporting actor should do. And I think he should win it. It's going to be him and Robert De Niro. That's going to be the top two. Who's going to win it? I say it should be Robert Downey Jr. I think he's fantastic because again,
I'm actually excited for the Oscars this year. That's the first time I've actually said that in my entire life. I'm actually excited for the Oscars this year.
I think so. Yeah, because
I think we might need to do a watch party.
Yeah, we might actually think about that. But I think it's so against the norm of what Robert Downey Jr. actually usually does that I think again it just speaks volumes to the performance that he gave. And again, Emily Blunt, but I think Gladstone might take that cake, and I'm good with that. I think
so.
And I'm good with that, and I think that would be a good win for her. But Emily Blunt was fantastic too, playing that drunk wife and the whole fucking thing about it, like cinematography though, I think it should go to this movie. Sound design, I think it should go to this movie. Everything about it was effects. Obviously, you shot a fucking nuclear explosion and you did it practically. Get the fuck out of here. It should be this movie. So I really want to see this movie clean up the Oscars, and just win because I think it really does deserve it, and I think it's finally to me, I'm not gonna say right now if it's my favorite Nolan film I've ever seen, but it's up there. It's up there with his greatest. It's a major step forward from Tenet, and I like Tenet, but this is way better. The cast is outstanding. You mentioned Matt Damon. Florence Pugh is in this thing. She's fucking perfection. You also had Jason Clarke.
Was stupendous.
Don't forget about Jason Clarke, who gave us one of the best performances he's ever done, as well as the prosecutor guy.
Yes.
He was fucking outstanding all across the board. And you bring in Josh Hartnett again. We talked about it briefly earlier. He fucking killed it in this thing. And the pacing in this thing is such a long 3-hour movie, but it moves the whole time you're watching it. It's moving forward. Every scene is just like, it's just moving. The score, again, absolutely astonishing here. Love the fuck out of this movie. I can't say enough good things about it, but it's my number one for a reason, and there it is.
Yeah, Rami Malek. I totally forgot he was in the movie. He was phenomenal too. Absolutely,
he was outstanding. This movie had a lot of great actors that pop up for just a second, and Rami Malek was one of them. There's a few other ones, but it was one of the best.
He played the most important thing in the movie too. You think it was the bomb, but he actually played the most important part of the movie. He did.
And it was all about and here's another thing I like about the movie is that it's all about the first atomic bomb ever, right? And that's the whole thing. They're building this thing, but it doesn't actually show them drop the bomb on Japan. It's, they
didn't need to.
They do the test. They do the test. Yeah, exactly. And that was a magnificent scene. Everything about that was magnificent. But then, all the bombing in Japan and the end of war, all this stuff was kind of just brushed over, and we get to the after story. That, we don't need that. Like you said, I think it was absolutely great that they kind of hummed over that and moved on.
Actually, I will say something. Like, they didn't show the actual drop of the two bombs, but they actually did do a scene that kind of gave you a mindset of what that drop looks like.
Yeah, they did. And that scene with Cillian
that
Murphy
was perfect.
That scene with Cillian Murphy in that gymnasium where he's walking through and he's starting to feel that guilt, and he sees everybody it's like T2. He sees everybody kind of getting sucked away. Like, it was just like, damn, that was a fucking impactful scene. Like, that was great. And Cillian Murphy, dude, I swear,
he has.
Please give this guy. Please give this guy. If not, I'll never watch another Oscar.
And I'm sorry, Leo, but it's Cillian Murphy. Like, Leo, you got yours. Let Cillian Murphy have his.
Yeah, this is his chance. Like, this whole movie was just, and Einstein. Don't forget about Einstein popping up, losing his hat and shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was great. It's a true cinematic masterpiece. If I could give it more than 5 stars, I would. One of the best things I've ever seen in theater.
Oh hell yeah, dude! And that's so awesome. I'm actually very surprised you moved it to your number one because I thought my number one would have been your number one, but you didn't
I
let
thought about it.
the recently biased thing, or like the recency thing, like kicked in, kind of like it did for me. So maybe in the future it might change for me, but my number one at this time is going to be Godzilla minus one because this movie came out of far left field for me because I'm just like a mediocre Godzilla fan because I'm always on the side of that Godzilla is better than Kong forever and always. And it got proven with its last movie that Godzilla is king. But I also wanted to pull up because Brad, we mentioned this in one of our videos. I really want to watch Godzilla minus one, but there's no way it's as good as Godzilla 98.
Come on, dropping eggs.
Eric Bandana. But Blu-ray, let me just go ahead and just tell you something. Godzilla minus one shits on Godzilla 98. Like it's like Godzilla minus one. It's just like, who's this piece? Like, what the fuck is this piece of shit? Like, just knocks it out of the way, man. But Godzilla minus one, absolutely a cinematic masterpiece. Like Brad mentioned earlier, the movie cost $15 million to make, and it looks just as good as any ever $200 million movie like The Flash would ever fucking do. I tell you, I feel like this movie is going to be the game changer of movies, of how they actually use their expenses to make movies just fucking cinematically beautiful. Like, because if you can make this movie beautiful for $15 million, which I assumingly thought it was made for $200 million, that dude, that's just fucking crazy to me. It really is. But what really gets me with this movie, like Brett actually alluded to from earlier, you bastard, you took my line, was that this is a Godzilla movie from the end of the day, but at times you truly forget that this is a Godzilla movie because of how great the story is, and sometimes you actually forget Godzilla was actually in the movie until the times he pops out and goes like, "Surprise, motherfucker," like that. But it does tell a great story. You actually care about characters in this story, other than other Godzilla movies in the past. You actually care about their stories, and they actually give in-depthness to their characters and why you should care about them or feel sorry for them. Dude, I could gush about this movie for hours, and hopefully one day we actually do a watch party for this because I think it's good. It's actually a real candidate for a real deserving for a watch party, and we really need to tackle this one head on. So Brad knocked out the big ones. I wanted to throw some little suggestions out there, and Rosie did ask earlier, Brad, why did they call this minus one? And without giving away any spoiler, you need to watch it in order to know why it's called minus one.
Honestly, I've seen the movie. I don't know the answer to.
I'll tell you off screen, Brad.
But I will say this: I didn't even. It actually wasn't this stream that I mentioned it. I was in the video record. $15 million though. Are you kidding me? Like I think Scream 6 was.
It's
was
extraordinary.
Yeah, this is a fucking. It's unbelievable that they like the Halloween movies were shot for more than $15 million. How are they able to make this movie for $15 million? I don't know. It's honestly chump change in today's cinematics. It literally would have been a $200 to $400 million production in the United States, and it's really just comes down to the basics, man. You get some filmmakers in here that care about the IP, that care about telling a story, and really want to let themselves shine. They come in here and they put all their heart and soul in it, and they make it work. They don't need, they don't need all the money. They just they put their effort, they put the blood, sweat, and tears into it. They make it work. And that's what we're missing in Hollywood at this point is that,
the actual quality and the careness of a film.
It's the passion. Yeah, it's the passion that we don't get all too often. We get these like, oh, well, let's just make as much money as we can. That's what we see. These guys wanted to tell a story, and they wanted to they didn't want any excuses. They didn't want any reason why they couldn't tell their story. So they told their fucking story. And they got minimal money for it. They got $15 million, and they fucking made it work. And the effects are fucking outstanding. Like it's absolutely like, again, there were times where you could spot the CGI out in the movie, but for a $15 or a $15 million movie, though, it's absolutely unreal what they were able to pull off for it.
And guys, a $15 Godzilla movie would consist of me in a freaking Godzilla suit going.
Yeah, and you might actually end up seeing that one day on the channel, but we'll see. But
We
yeah,
already
but
figured out a skit idea already. So
but
Priscilla.
it's absolutely unreal, and major props to the filmmakers behind it, everybody involved. You didn't have any money. Bring those guys, give those guys some money and see what they can do. But they don't need it at the end of the day. They made one of the best movies of this year, in my opinion. They didn't have
Mhm.
any fucking money to do it. And yes, I cannot believe it's not on my IMAX either.
I'm sure they'll fix that problem.
I hope so. I saw a post today. I don't know. I didn't look into it too much that it's already made more in the US than it made in Japan.
I think that's true.
I hope they're catching on to this. I hope it gets the epic release that it deserves. Because it's just, it didn't get any advertising over here. I had no idea it was coming. If it wasn't for word of mouth on social media, I wouldn't have known this movie existed.
I think I
Um,
even convinced you, like saying, like, Brad, I've been hearing some things about this movie, so if you got that extra time, go see it. And you're like, you know what? Maybe I will.
yeah, we
And
had that
lucky bastard,
conversation.
and lucky bastard, you got to saw it before I did.
It was one of the most impactful movies I've seen. I never in a million years would I said, "Oh, I watched a Godzilla movie, it made me cry." I wouldn't have said that. But this one,
Mhm.
it was there. It was super impactful. So if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out, man. It deserves it. It deserves all the money. It deserves anything you can give to it.
Mhm.
Outstanding film.
Absolutely. And I want to mark down these two comments, and we've almost been just as long as freaking Killers of the Mayflower. That fuck, Killers of the Flower
We got another
Moon.
hour to go before we get there.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, that's how long. But at least we're freaking entertaining. Okay, that's not fair about the movie. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Dude, there
be a
was a
dick
lot of
like that.
headshots in that movie, Birdie.
Dude, damn right they are. And actually, they're kind of genius in a little bit. Trying not to be a psychopath there, but a little bit creative,
They were.
especially for its time. But yeah, but I thought those things were great too. I thought they made a realistic approach on those things. But wanted to mark down these two comments. I think we're slowly going to skedaddle on out here. Enjoy Christmas time. Drew says, I think movies will begin to get smaller budgets with fewer people going to the theater. And that's exciting because filmmakers have to give creative. I think this is one of the best comments of the night because I think it's absolutely true. And with Godzilla being $15 million, I feel like Hollywood now is going to start challenging their directors.
I think they need to, because you look at it, it's like, okay, they made 15 million. They made this movie. Why do we need to pay any movie 200 million dollars? There's no reason to.
Plus, how are you supposed to make money if you're just spending that much money?
If you could make this movie for 15 million dollars, then why on earth? It's just like, okay, maybe 30 million, 40, whatever. 200 million dollars for a movie when they made this for 15? Get out of here, dude. Fuck off.
Yeah,
Let's find the right
exactly.
people to come in and tell a fucking story.
Exactly, dude. And then also want to address Snyder's also saying that there's no way it's better than Godzilla 98. Dude, I promise you, it would make it look like a complete parody. Because of how bad Godzilla 98 is. Godzilla -1 definitely the greatest Godzilla movie of all time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. For me, it's my favorite I've seen.
Oh, let's see here. I believe you're new here, Mason Hagen. What's going on? I think Evil Woody is in the running for movie of the year. Unfortunately, I am not sure what Evil Woody is, but we do appreciate you being here. And everybody say hello to Mason Hagen.
I'm gonna Google it and I hope it doesn't fuck up.
Oh, dude, Brad, we found the porn name.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Brett presents Killer of the Flower Mooning. Yes. Brad, hopefully it's not pornographic.
No, it's actually about a evil Woody from Toy Story that's killing people, it looks like.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. So, I got to add that to my freaking watch list, fan.
Yeah, it actually looks
gosh.
pretty cool from the images that I just saw.
Bretman and the Deflower.
The deflower, yeah, I like
Dude,
that.
y'all giving me a genius idea for a feature stream. We're just going to fucking make fun of names for popular movies.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's all good though.
Yeah, but all right. That is all I see. I'm all caught up in the chat. Hello again, Corey Tiger. We're just about to wrap up. Brad, anything else you want to see, or just another movie in general that you want to talk about real quick?
You know, if you're asking me what else I want to see, I still haven't seen Suitable Flesh, and that's one I really want to check out before we do
Yeah, I've
the
been
Real
hearing
Horror
that one
Award.
too. I need to see that one too.
Yeah, that's one that I still want to see before we do the Real Horror Award nominations. Um, so that's one. Somebody mentioned a couple times Extraction 2. They asked
Yeah,
if it
that
was on
was
our list.
Drew did.
I actually honestly totally forgot about that movie until you mentioned it tonight. And I know Brett, I think it was Brett that said it was pretty epic earlier in the year.
I
So
enjoyed it better than the first one, but I feel like it goes more actiony, like way over the top on action than the original one did. But it still has another, the famous like 10-minute or I think at this point it's
the one
20 minute,
shot.
yeah, one shot
Yeah,
20 minute, yeah, like a record,
at
which I
least a
don't think it
faux one
did.
shot.
Yeah, exactly, and that scene was still good too.
Yeah, so I mean, that's one I definitely still want to check out because I like the first one, but I haven't seen it yet. Um, so I hope that I'll get to check it out at some point. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think I got most of the stuff that I wanted to see. Again, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, The Holdovers is one I want to see a lot. It wasn't in theaters by the time I actually had a chance to see it, so that's what I want to see too as soon as it comes out.
Hell yeah. And guys, you all are so welcome. I'm seeing everyone in the chat saying thanks for a great stream. Guys, thank you all for making this awesome. This is one of the more consistently viewed streams of the entire year. We had a maximum of freaking 20 people in the chat for a very long time, and that's awesome. So we appreciate you guys so much. I feel like these live streams are getting more steam, and we're going to continue that momentum, and that is all up to you. So always just liking the video, sharing the video, of course, letting everyone know about the Good Will Hunting and my shenanigans. I'll keep on creating more shenanigans for y'all to come back and just an embarrass Brad.
I don't like it when you embarrass me, but you know what? It's all good.
Come on now, you know you love it.
It's all good, man.
But okay, but seriously, folks, before we actually leave here, I gotta talk about the Slaughterhouse.
Oh gosh, I saw that pop up on a couple of your nominations. I was like, what the fuck is this guy even talking about?
Dude, okay, I'm just fucking kid. I kid, but it's more of the what the fuck section more than anything. But let's go ahead and close out, folks. Speaking of the Real Horror Awards, let's talk about the Real Horror Awards real quick. We are currently in the nomination process of getting with our Real committee, and we're coming up with some nominations for you all to vote on. And as of right now, it's of January. I'm hoping for January the 3rd is when I do officially release the official ballot, and I'll let you all know how to vote where your voice can be heard, and B, how you can help spread the word, because we have a goal to try to get 300 total votes for the Real Horror Awards to double our score from last year. And as of right now, February the 7th is when the Real Horror Awards show is going to be, and we're so looking forward to it because it was our best stream show of this year, actually our best stream show, and we want to repeat that success.
Honestly, it's the best stream show we've ever had. Honestly,
Exactly. Yeah. It did that too. So we're excited to do it again to try and make it better than ever. But Brad, I'll let you talk about these two videos coming up here in the coming weeks.
Yeah, of course. A couple of the end of the year goodies. We have top 10 horror movies of 2023. Obviously, if you guys watch tonight, you'll probably know what they are, but still, we're going to talk about them. And then also on the other side of that, we got the top 5 worst horror movies of 2023. We see our little Reagan wannabe
look at
here.
that ugliness.
Yeah. So we're gonna tackle some of these movies as well. We did top 5 instead of top 10 because once I got past 5, personally, I actually kind of like some of those movies. I know Brett could probably give you like a top 20 or top 15, but
I easily could. It'll be Infinity Pool, Infinity Pool, Infinity Pool.
Get the fuck out of here. But we'll talk about them, and it's gonna be a fun list. And obviously, after that, we're gonna be talking about some of our anticipated movies. Actually, next week too, live we'll be doing
next stream.
That's gonna be a kind of a laid back anticipated movies of 2024 video, and then we'll do a top 10 horror anticipated movies as well coming up after that.
Mm-hmm. And if I was signed up to Patreon and YouTube membership now too, because if you do, not only do you get exclusive content of our series of the 2010s for non-horror movies, but you're also going to get top 10 of regular movies of 2023. But as you'll see tonight, but we'll still do a video. We'll do our like I would say, Brad, top 5 worst non-horror movies of the 2023. I feel like that could be an interesting one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we could do top anticipated movie of non-horror movies of 2024.
I like
we'll
doing that.
figure it
Yeah.
out. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that. But the main thing is you definitely don't want to miss the exclusive content of non-horror movies for the 2010s, because again, we're at a point where we are now, it's about to pick up.
Business is picking up, man. 2024 is right around the corner. We're gonna have a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, so all right, we're going to go ahead and close it out here, and we hope everybody has a wonderful knife. Ha! Kidding, wonderful knife. Damn, I said it again, wonderful night. And Brad, you're the jolly one of the bunch. I'll let you have the last word.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. Don't eat all the eggnog, but drink all the gingerbread cookies.